Chapter 575. You can put him in your divine sense space. He stays with me normally. When you need him to come out and help you fight, you can let him out, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Oh, that Hua. What's that? Your name is too long to say. I'll change it to Wang Kai from now on. Xiao Chen said. Pfft. Master, this name. Why does it sound like a dog? Old Demon Fire Wolf said with a sad face. Oh, aren't you just my dog? Xiao Chen retorted. That being said, since Master is so awesome, you should give your dog a more domineering name, right? Old Demon Fire Wolf quickly said with a smile. What you said makes sense. Xiao Chen nodded and said, then I'll call you Universe Super Invincible Dog. After saying that, Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. He could not help but think of the first young mistress. In the courtyard of the villa, the first young mistress had her hands on her waist and reached out to poke him as she lectured him word by word. Wrong. It's Universe Super Invincible Dog, not Invincible Super Dog. Thinking of Miss, Xiao Chen's heart was a little heavy. I wonder how she is now. Master, this name is a bit too domineering. Universe Super Invincible Dog, doesn't that surpass Master? Old Demon Fire Wolf secretly complained. Why is this still a dog name? What's your original name? Xiao Chen didn't want to give him this name. Old Demon Fire Wolf quickly replied respectfully, my name is Old Demon Fire Wolf. What's your real name? Xiao Chen asked. My real name. It's been too long, I can't remember. I think it's in something. Old Demon Fire Wolf was fascinated. He thought of his youth, but it was already so far away that he couldn't even remember it. It's been too long, he said with emotion. Oh, then I'll call you Little Demonin, Xiao Chen said, how about this name? All right. When Old Demon Fire Wolf heard this, he immediately agreed. No matter what, this was much better than Wang Kai and Invincible Dog. At the very least, it was a normal person's name. Although it wasn't very ideal, he didn't dare to change it. If Xiao Chen suddenly had a strange idea and gave him a name like Lai Fu or Go Leftovers, it would be better than this. Alright, Little Demonin, you can go back, Xiao Chen ordered Old Demon Fire Wolf. Yes, Master. And Xiaomo responded and returned to Xiao Chen's divine sense space. Xiao Chen thought that this demon had been successfully refined, but he had to find a chance to test it out next time to see how its combat power was. If it was too weak, he could only take it out to scare people. It wouldn't be of much use. Ahem, Taishan, Luli, come in. Xiao Chen accepted and Little Demon, then opened the door and instructed the people outside. Martial Granduncle. Martial Uncle. Daoist Taishan and Daoist Luli didn't dare to leave. They had been waiting outside the door. When they heard Xiao Chen calling for them, they quickly walked in. You two, keep the matter of my possession a secret. However, I still have the identity of Xiao Chang. I still have to return to Su Chuxia's side to protect her. Do you hear me? Xiao Chen said to the two disciples. Taishan and Luli were taken aback. They asked at the same time, Martial Uncle, Ancestor, with your current strength, there is no need to do this, right? That won't do. Do you know? This Xiao Chang's true identity is the team leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Now that I have fused with his primordial spirit, if the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau find out, they will definitely not forgive our Tianqing Temple. Xiao Chen said alarmingly, so, I have to continue this identity. I see. Martial Uncle, Ancestor, is wise. The two nodded in unison after listening. Alright, then I'll leave first. By the way, where's the gold bar? Move my car up. Xiao Chen said. Luli and Taishan were taken aback. Martial Uncle, Ancestor, why do you still need the gold bar? I said that I came out to take the gold bar. I didn't take anything back. How am I going to explain it? Xiao Qin said with a cold expression, why? You dare to question my words? I haven't taught you a lesson for so many years, right? We don't dare, we don't dare. The two begged for mercy. Martial uncle, ancestor, we will do it now. And, that's more like it. Xiao Qin nodded. By the way, martial uncle, ancestor, the gold bar. There are a few hundred liters in the trunk of your car. They are all filled. It can carry a few tons of gold. Do you want to carry all of them? Daoist Lu Li and Daoist Taishan asked. Damn, you guys are so rich? Xiao Qin was a little surprised. If you pack so much, won't my car collapse? Just pack it according to the price of 1 million. Wasn't this gold left by martial uncle, ancestor, back then? The two of them were a little puzzled. Oh, then hurry up and pack it. Xiao Qin said with a wave of his hand. Yes, martial uncle, ancestor. The two of them responded and went to carry out the task. 1 million gold was calculated to be 200 yuan per gram, which was 5 grams, which was just a few gold bars. Very quickly, the car was loaded. Xiao Qin drove the car and left. This 1 million gold was nothing to Xiao Qin. On the way back to school, he felt that it was time to say goodbye to Su Chuxia and Tianyu. He could also hand in the mission of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Because of martial uncle, ancestor's instructions, Daoist Lu Li and Daoist Taishan discussed for a while and immediately called Yukio Yashima and Kai Lehu to cancel the cooperation. Mr. Kai, I can't deal with Xiao Chang on my side. I think it's better to forget about the cooperation. Our heavenly pure monastery will not participate. This time, we suffered heavy losses. Xiao Chang even swindled us of 1 million in compensation. Daoist Lu Li said with a bitter face, I have lost all the money you gave me. What? You don't want to participate? Kai Lehu was stunned. How can we not participate? He quickly said, that's not right. Daoist Lu Li, didn't we agree to deal with him together? But Xiao Chang is really not easy to deal with. He has already said that if our heavenly pure monastery dares to cause trouble for him again, he will set fire to our heavenly pure monastery. Moreover, he didn't look for you, but looked for us. It's too sad. Said Daoist Lu Li, I see. Kai Lehu was a little speechless after listening. He also knew Xiao Chang's character, so when he heard this, he knew that it was useless to force him. He didn't want to play anymore, so he could only say, well, since Daoist Lu Li doesn't want to participate, then forget it. Okay, then I will call Yukio Yashima again, said Daoist Lu Li, no need. He is with me. I will tell him, said Kai Lehu. Alright, let's cooperate again in the future if there is a chance, said Daoist Lu Li. Kai Lehu hung up the phone and frowned. Originally, the research base's information was not easy to get. Now that the heavenly pure monastery didn't want to participate, it was even more difficult for them. What's wrong, Lehu Jun? What's the problem? Asked Yukio Yashima. Daoist Lu Li doesn't want to play anymore. As he spoke, he told Kai Lehu the news he had just received. Xiao Chang is really powerful. It is normal for him not to play anymore. We are interested in the research institute's information, but Daoist Lu Li is just doing it for money, so he doesn't need to work so hard. We are different. Yukio Yashima could understand after listening. He nodded and said, however, Lehu Jun, I came this time with good news. The impact of your bad news can also be offset. Oh? What good news? Kai Lehu was stunned and asked quickly. This is the case. The European Claryman family came. They are also interested in the research base's information. Yukio Yashima said, they contacted me and want to join our cooperation. Claryman family? What is that? Kai Lehu was stunned. He had never heard of such a family. In the local town of Lego in Europe, the Claryman family is similar to Lu Hujun's Kai family in Lon City. Said Yukio Yashima. Oh, it turns out to be the Black family. Kai Lehu understood this time and nodded. What capabilities do they have? How many warriors and martial artists do they have? They have warriors. On their side, warriors are called martial knights, and martial artists are called martial riders. However, there are not many of them. This time, only a few martial knights came, said Yukio Yashima. That's useless. Kai Lehu shook his head. We are not their opponents, let alone a few more warriors. That's not true. They have firearms. Yukio Yashima smiled and said, they are a family in the firearms business. This time, they came here illegally and brought a lot of lethal weapons. We can directly rob the research base. Oh? That's risky. Kai Lehu frowned after listening, but he was obviously a little tempted. There is a risk, but how can there be no risk? Yukio Yashima said, as long as we can get the information, it's okay to pay some price. But if we use firearms, it's not convenient for the Kai family to participate. After all, our foundation is in Lon City. If the Supernatural Investigation Bureau gets hold of this, we won't be able to bear the consequences. Kai Lehu said with some worry, previously, we could say that we were doing things according to the rules of the underworld. But now, if we use weapons to rob, it's not something that the people of the underworld should do. If something happens, no one will stand up for the Kai family. Lu Hujun, don't worry. It will definitely be the Claryman family who will be the vanguard. We will just be supporting them. Yukio Yashima said. No, we can't do anything. The people of the Kai family must not appear. This is the bottom line. Kai Lehu shook his head. You don't know. We used force before, so the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wouldn't do anything to us. If we used firearms and implicated our Kai family, they could just bring an armored car over and bombard our Kai family. I'd be dead. Yukio Yashima nodded and said, in that case, I will be supporting them. After it's done, Lu Hujun only needs to help us leave Lon City safely. You don't have to worry about anything else. I think Lu Hujun should be able to do this, right? Chapter 576. That's not a problem at all. Kai Lehu agreed without hesitation. The Kai family had been operating in the underworld of Lon City for many years, so they were confident in transferring people. Hence, he agreed without hesitation. This way, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would not have any evidence to prove that the Kai family was involved and could not do anything to them. Okay, then I'll contact the people from the Claryman family. Yorishima Kikuo actually did not want to bring the people from the Claryman family. After all, they had already figured out the terrain and the route. The Claryman family had just arrived, but they were already there. He naturally felt uncomfortable. However, now that Heavenly Clear Temple had withdrawn, he had to find a new partner. He did not care about this. Anyway, the people from the Claryman family would be the vanguard. Kai Lehu nodded and said, well, sure. I've also arranged the route and method to leave the city. Once you succeed, I'll send you out. After the two of them had finished discussing, Nishima Kiru left to look for the people from the Claryman family to plan. This time, the Claryman family had sent one of the Claryman family's heirs, Vikens Claryman, to Lon City. Although he was not the first in line, the success or failure of his mission would add to his future. Although he was capable, he did not have enough time. It was said that the research was now coming to an end. In a few days, the information would be sealed and sent to the higher-ups. When that time came, it would be useless to come again. The research base would be gone. Hence, he was eager to find people to cooperate with. After asking around, he found Yorishima Kikuo and wanted to join. In order to get the other party to agree, he did not hesitate to promise his own people to be the vanguard and act as cannon fodder. Anyway, the Klarman family had many small disciples. Before these people came, they had given their families a large sum of money to be used as sacrificial warriors, so there was nothing to be afraid of. On the other side, Vikings received a positive reply from Yorishima Kikuo. He immediately became happy and waited for his arrival. After a while, Yorishima Kikuo arrived at Vikings' residence. "Welcome, Mr. Yorishima. I've heard a lot about you," Viken said politely as he welcomed Yorishima Kikuo into the house. "Huh, Mr. Vikens, you're too kind. We're all the same kind of people, so let's forget about these empty words. I also know that you people in Europe like to get straight to the point and not beat around the bush, right?" Yorishima Kikuo said with a smile. Vikens nodded and said, "That's right, Mr. Yujima. I'm here to cooperate with the Sakura group and seize the data of the research base together. I've discussed it with my partner, Mr. Kai Lehu. Initially, there are no problems, but the main problem is, what can you provide? Or rather, what can you do in a collaboration? As you know, I've been working hard for a long time, and I'm about to reap the rewards. It's so refreshing to talk to Mr. Knight Island. What I can provide is manpower and weapons." Viken said, "As long as Mr. Knight Island provides the map of the research base and the location of the data, I think my people will be able to get the data smoothly." "Sure, no problem." Yorishima Kikuo nodded and said, "That's exactly what I'm lacking on my side. The map of the research base has been sorted out after a lot of hard work and reports from our insider. I don't know when Mr. Vikens will take action, but when the time comes, our insider can provide support. Anytime." Vikens smiled and said confidently, "The people I've recruited are all trained by retired mercenary experts. All of them are good at assaulting. As long as we have the map, we can study it." "That's great. Let's do it tonight. In order to avoid any accidents, we won't have any hope if the research base hands over the data." Yorishima Kikuo said happily. "That's not a problem, but Mr. Knight Island, what is your insider responsible for in the research base?" Vikens asked. "It must be a key department. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to sort out the map. You must know that none of the staff inside could have such a great ability." Yorishima Kikuo smiled and said, "This person is a technician in the security monitoring room. With the advantage of being able to view and operate the monitoring, he can summarize the topographic map of the research base and know where the core confidential data is located." "Huh, it seems that my cooperation with Mr. Knight Island is really wise. We have a clear division of labor." Vikens was overjoyed after hearing this. He didn't expect Yorishima Kikuo to be so powerful that he actually had his own people in the monitoring room. This is also a coincidence. They just imported a set of relatively advanced monitoring equipment and are recruiting excellent computer talents from the society. This person has been a spy trained by a subsidiary company of our Sakura group since he was in college, so it's just the right time to use him." Yorishima Kikuo said with a smile, "When you go, I can ask him to help destroy the monitoring. We have never used this person before, and he has no criminal record. He will definitely succeed." "Oh. That's great. This way, we can smoothly break through without much effort." Vikens nodded happily. "There is one more important problem. How are we going to evacuate after we obtain the data? I'm afraid the whole city will be under martial law, right?" Yorishima Kikuo was afraid that Vikens didn't understand, so he explained, "That's for sure. However, my partner, Mr. Kai Lehu, is a local tyrant in Lon City. The Kai family is in Lon City, just like the Klarman family is in Lego Town. Then it doesn't matter." Vikens nodded and said, "All right, I'll take action with my men tonight." After school, Xiao Chen's car was waiting at the entrance of the college. After a while, Su Chuxia and Tian Souring came out. Xiao Chen had already contacted them beforehand and told them that he would be waiting at the entrance of the college. Tian Souring walked over, opened the door, and looked inside the car. Su Chuxia walked over and asked curiously, "What are you looking at?" "The gold bar." "Where is it?" Tian Souring asked. "Oh, it's in the trunk." Xiao Chen got out of the car, opened the trunk, and took out a bag of gold bars. He handed it to Tian Souring and said, "I promise to give it to you." "Ah, it's so heavy." Tian Souring saw that the gold bars weren't big, but she didn't expect them to be so heavy. She almost dropped them on the ground. Of course, the gold is definitely heavy. Otherwise, why would people commit suicide by swallowing gold in the past? Xiao Chen was shocked when he said this because he saw Tian Souring stuff the gold bar into her mouth. He quickly said, "But don't eat it." I can't. I'll bite it and see if it's real." Tian Souring said. "Souring, why are you so unhygienic? This isn't right. Moreover, you shouldn't accept such an expensive thing." Su Chuxia said. "Aya, this is given by Sister Sour's boyfriend. Why can't I accept it? I can even accept diamonds." Tian Sour said disapprovingly, "Don't worry about our relationship, Chuxia." "Okay." Su Chuxia shook her head helplessly. In the car, looking at the happy Tian Souring and the speechless Su Chuxia, Xiao Chen wanted to say that he was leaving several times, but in the end, he didn't say it. He didn't want to ruin the atmosphere. He dragged the car back to the courtyard of his house. Su Chuxia and Tian Souring had already gotten out of the car, but he still didn't say it. It seemed like he could only talk about it tomorrow morning. Xiao Chen went back to rest. However, in the middle of the night, he unexpectedly received a call from Song Huawu. However, it was Xia Shibin's voice that came through the phone. He said anxiously, "Team leader, bad news. The research base was ambushed at night. Deputy team leader Song was seriously injured and is now in the hospital." "What?" Xiao Chen was stunned. He was a little shocked. Even Heavenly Clear Temple had withdrawn from the operation. With the strength of the two people from the Sakura group and the motley crew from Kai Lehu's family, they could actually ambush the research base and injure Song Huawu. This was simply unbelievable. Putting aside how these people broke through the defense, one had to know that the patrolling guards in the research base were all armed. Logically speaking, even if these people rushed in, they would be shot to death. There was no need for Song Huawu to fight them head-on, right? The research data was stolen. Team leader Song's condition is very serious. One of his legs was blown off. The doctors in the hospital said that it might not be reattached. Not only that, the remaining leg will also have to be amputated. Xia Shibin said anxiously. "What happened? What did you say? How is this possible?" Xiao Chen was completely shocked this time. Song Huawu was actually injured so badly? Did the other party have a very powerful master? Team leader, the other party used a lot of lethal firearms. They forced their way in through the gate of the research base. They used rocket launchers and explosives. The other party's firepower was very fierce. Our security guards were equipped with ordinary pistols. They were no match for them at all. Under the other party's attack, we were forced to retreat. Xia Shibin explained. As for team leader Song, he was trying to save those scientists. This group of thugs was obviously desperate. They rushed in and wanted to blow up the scientists' dormitory. They threw a grenade over. Fortunately, team leader Song reacted quickly and kicked the grenade away. Unfortunately, he was still affected by the aftershock of the explosion. Now, he is in danger. What happened to the research base? Xiao Chen was shocked. Who are these people? Are they the people of Midnight Island Kishio and Kai Lehu? I don't think so. Judging from their figures, they should be Westerners, not Easterners. Xia Shibin said, they have already succeeded. Our people are no match for them at all. I just sent Team Leader Song to the hospital and quickly called you to report. Chapter 577. After listening to Xia Shibin's report, Xiaochen suddenly felt a little strange. Where did this group of people come from? Since they were Westerners, how could there be no signs? They just directly made their move? There was no scouting or investigation. Team leader, it's like this. We didn't expect that someone would suddenly attack at night, but the monitoring department didn't give any warning in advance. Moreover, when the incident happened, they turned off the monitoring and alarm system, causing someone to invade. We couldn't respond in time. Xia Shibin said. After that, a technician on duty in charge of monitoring disappeared. It should be him who did it. He escaped with those people. Immediately report the situation to Deputy Bureau Chief Xia Zhili, and then thoroughly investigate the identity of that technician. Block all the main roads in the city, and trace the origins of those Westerners. Xiaochen directly ordered Xia Shibin. Also, where is Hua Wu? In the city's first hospital. I'm here too. Xia Shibin said. Okay, I'll be there right away. Xiaochen was actually most worried about Song Hua Wu. As for the information, it actually had nothing to do with him. The reason why he was so concerned was not because he wanted to disguise his identity, but because he had a passion for his country. The information of the Xia kingdom had been stolen by outsiders. He couldn't ignore it when he saw it. That was why he gave instructions to Xia Shibin. Yes, team leader. Xia Shibin quickly responded. Xiaochen went downstairs and quickly drove to the first hospital. In the hospital's emergency department, he saw Xia Shibin with an anxious face. When he saw Xiaochen, he immediately walked over. Team leader, although the doctors tried their best to save him, it was said that there was not much hope. Xiaochen nodded with a serious expression. He turned to look at Xia Shibin and asked, "What did Deputy Bureau Chief Xia say?" He said that his duty is to protect the Su family from harm. As for the security of the research base, it is the responsibility of another Deputy Bureau Chief. It has little to do with him, so we don't have to worry, Xia Shibin said. Xiaochen was a little speechless. This Xia Zhili was really a talent. Such a big matter, but he was indifferent. I really wonder how he sat in this position. However, the situation in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was also different. Some people with special abilities and great strength would be specially promoted and entrusted with important tasks. It was actually quite impossible to count on these people to do things wholeheartedly. At this time, a doctor hurried over. When he saw Xiaochen and Xia Shibin, he said, "Who can make the decision?" The patient's right leg could not be reattached, and the left leg had to be amputated due to the severity of the injury. If you have no objections, please sign the notice. This, Team Leader Yang, what do you think? Xia Shibin couldn't make the decision, so he waited for Xiaochen to make the decision. The surgery is over. All the doctors should leave. I will go in by myself. Xia Shibin, you guard the door for me. Xiaochen said directly. This doesn't comply with the regulations. The doctor was stunned and said, although I know that you may be from the police, but, the doctor saw that Xia Shibin's waist was bulging. It was obvious that he was carrying a gun. This kind of person who dared to carry a gun in public was probably only from the police. Xia Shibin showed his ID. These doctors were knowledgeable and often dealt with people from the special department. They recognized Xia Shibin's ID. They hesitated for a moment and nodded. Okay, I will inform the director. After a while, a middle-aged woman wearing glasses walked quickly and said, "Let me introduce myself. I am the deputy director on duty at the first hospital. My surname is Fu. I have already arranged it. The doctors in the operating room have all left. Now you can take over." "Thank you, Director Fu." Xiaochen nodded and didn't say much. He asked Xiaofan to wait at the door, and he entered the operating room alone. The situation in the operating room was terrible. However, Song Huawu actually didn't use anesthesia. At this moment, she was still awake. This made Xiao Chen a little surprised. Similarly, Song Huawu was also a little puzzled. Why did these doctors and nurses leave? Is there no hope for me? It was Song Huawu's own request not to use anesthesia. She was a martial artist, and her endurance was very strong. Naturally, she didn't need that thing. Hearing footsteps, Song Huawu looked and saw that it was actually Xiao Chen. "It's you." Song Huawu's voice was a little weak. "Can I save my leg?" She heard the doctor say it, so although it was difficult to accept at the moment, there was no other way. At this moment, she thought that Xiao Chen came to comfort her. "Let me see." Xiao Chen looked at the bloody scene in front of him and frowned. Originally, he thought that he could use his essence to heal others. However, Song Huawu's leg had been blasted off. How was he supposed to heal her? He had never encountered such a situation before. It seemed that there were some places that were missing flesh and bones. Obviously, they were blown up. How could this be treated? "It's okay if I see something I shouldn't see, right?" Xiao Chen didn't make a move. Instead, he asked. "No." Song Huawu shook her head, but her face was slightly red. She knew what Xiao Chen was talking about. Her injury was on her leg, so if Xiao Chen wanted to see it, he would naturally see it too. However, Song Huawu didn't care so much at the moment. She didn't know why Xiao Chen wanted to see it. Xiao Chen opened the list and took a look. However, he didn't feel anything strange, nor did he think about anything he shouldn't. This was because the situation in front of him was extremely bloody. He frowned, but he couldn't think of a good solution. "Elder Heaven Ancestor, can I still use my qi to treat this situation?" Xiao Chen asked uncertainly. "Obviously not. You don't have that ability yet." Elder Heaven Ancestor said, "If she was only injured and didn't have a broken limb, it wouldn't be a problem. However, I'm afraid it's not possible now." Then, Xiao Chen's head sank. This wasn't the result he wanted. Although he hadn't known Song Huawu for long, he had a good impression of her. This girl had always helped him. Now that she was in trouble, how could Xiao Chen not help her? Right. As Xiao Chen frowned, he suddenly thought of a situation. Daoist Lu Li was almost killed by Wang Fantian, but he was fine the next day. How did he recover? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen asked directly, "Little Demonin." "Master, why are you looking for Little Demonin?" In the spiritual sense space, Old Demon Fire Wolf asked Xiao Chen with a fawning expression. Lu Li was almost turned into meat paste. How did he recover the next day? "Did you treat him?" asked Xiao Chen. "Ah, he took the fairy water. That fairy water was refined by Taishan with a spirit gathering array under my guidance. The effect is very good," said an Little Demon. "Is there anything else?" asked Xiao Chen. "Yes, there should be some left," said an Little Demon. "Can the broken limb be reattached?" asked Xiao Chen. "There is some effect, but the effect may not be as good as Lu Li's," said an Little Demon. Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief after listening. It didn't matter if the effect was bad. As long as it could be reattached, the rest would be left to his qi. As long as it was reattached, everything would be easy. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen directly dialed Daoist Lu Li's phone number. "Lu Li," Xiao Chen said, "hurry up and come to the first hospital of Lan City. Bring me the remaining fairy water for your treatment. Hurry up. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing you." "Aya, what the f***ck?" When Daoist Lu Li heard Xiao Chang's voice, he subconsciously wanted to curse, but he suddenly thought that Xiao Chang had become martial uncle. He quickly changed his words and said, "Martial uncle, please wait a moment. I will go there immediately. Don't worry, I will go on the wind-fire wheels. Alright, hurry up. Xiaofan didn't care about Taoist Lu Li's mantra. After hanging up the phone, he saw Song Huawu looking at him in surprise. She said, Xiaofan, you said that you want Taoist Lu Li to bring you the fairy water? Why is he so obedient to you? Oh. It's a long story. I'll tell you when you're better. Don't talk for now. You just have to bear with it. Xiaofan said. That's a long story. It's okay. I can endure it, but can I still recover? Song Huawu was a little surprised. Of course. Xiaofan smiled and said, I am not that Yang Tan. I am Xiaofan, a superpower user. Okay, I believe you. Song Huawu nodded and was happy. I thought I would never be able to stand up again. That can't be. Xiaofan shook his head. You wait for me first. I will go and explain to Xiaofan. Although Song Huawu was in great pain, she knew that she was saved. She was very happy in her heart. Xiaofan turned around and left the operating room. Xiaofan saw him and quickly asked, Team leader, how is it? Can Huawu be saved? Taoist Lu Li has the fairy water. She can be saved. Xiaofan didn't expose his own affairs. Instead, he gave all the credit to Taoist Lu Li's fairy water. He wasn't that close to Xiaofan. You wait here. When Taoist Lu Li comes, call me. No problem. Xiaofan nodded, but he was very surprised. Isn't Taoist Lu Li hostile to us? How can he come to deliver medicine? Also, what happened tonight has nothing to do with Tianqing Temple. However, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask these now because Xiaofan had returned to the operating room. Xiaofan saw Song Huawu grimacing in pain with a slight smile. He couldn't help but smile. Huawu, my identity is going to be exposed in the future. Will you leave the Supernatural Investigation Bureau with me? I can't. I can't leave here. Song Huawu shook her head. If my affairs are exposed, it will definitely implicate you and Xiaofan. Xiaofan said, will you stay here and die? I was an orphan when I was young. The person who adopted me was an instructor in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although I never saw him again after I grew up and could join the training, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is my home for me. Song Huawu sighed. I won't betray the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Chapter 578. Then why didn't you expose me? Xiaofan was a little surprised. He didn't expect Song Huawu to have such a background. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau is not a one-man operation. I don't like what Yang Jiannan and Xia Zhili did, so I won't expose you. Song Huawu shook her head. I know that these two people secretly cooperated with each other to fill their pockets. They did this, causing the cultivation resources of ordinary members to decrease. So, I am also very happy that you killed Yang Jiannan. But because of my identity, I can't do it to my colleagues. You are loyal to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiaofan sighed. It was hard to say whether Song Huawu was stubborn or responsible. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau is like my home. Song Huawu said faintly, it's just like your family. No matter what the family does to you, it is always your family. You can't abandon it. Maybe. Xiaofan didn't comment on this. Families were also different. Although the Xiao family drove him out on the surface, they actually arranged everything secretly. So, Xiaofan had a sense of belonging to the Xiao family, but it didn't mean that Tang Tang also had a sense of belonging to the Tang family. So, I have to stay here unless the Supernatural Investigation Bureau fires me. Song Huawu said, today is the same. I know that I may be injured, but I still stick to the responsibility in my heart. I was ordered to protect the research base, so I will do my best until my death. Xiaochen couldn't understand Song Huawu's mentality. Because he grew up in an environment where he was ridiculed and plotted against, he was full of vigilance against the people around him. Therefore, Xiaochen's character was not that enthusiastic. He would help his friends, but he would not help strangers for no reason. That was because it had nothing to do with him. When he was being mocked and framed, there were no strangers who helped him. Although Xiaochen knew that his character was not very sunny, he didn't care about it. He lived for himself, to find his missing parents, to make his friends and women live a better life, not to be seen by others. Alright, if you have your own ideas, I won't force you. Xiaochen nodded. At this time, his cell phone rang. He took a look and saw that it was Xiaoxibin. It was probably Taoist Luli. Xiaochen walked out of the operating room. Sure enough, he saw Taoist Luli standing at the door, panting heavily. Oh my god, I ran so fast. Who's Xiaobai? Xiaochen asked. Ah. Greetings, sure. Young hero. Taoist Dearly almost made a slip of the tongue. I'm not talking about anyone. I almost vomited blood while running here as fast as I could. You ran here? Xiaochen was shocked. What kind of speed was this? He had wanted to ask this earlier. It would take 2 hours to drive from the Heavenly Purity Monastery to Lan City, but this Taoist Luli arrived in an hour. Did you really come here on the wind flame wheels? That's not true, but I can run very fast. Have you forgotten? My martial granduncle used to raise a swift as a flying spirit beast, and I was the one in charge of raising it. Taoist Dearly thought that martial granduncle might have been in seclusion for too long and forgot about the swift. That fellow, that Xiaobai flew faster than that. I chased it all over the mountain. Oh my god, I'm even faster than the wind flame wheels. Xiaochen was speechless. Old Devil Fire Wolf had a swift? He really didn't know. However, Xiaochen knew about the swift. It was said that there was a type of sharp-tailed swift that flew faster than a sports car, whizzing at more than 300 kilometers per hour. Wouldn't it be even faster if it was a spirit beast? No wonder Taoist Dearly was so confident. Alright, where's the immortal water? Xiaochen asked. It's here. Taoist Luli took out a small bottle from his bosom and then sat to the side, panting heavily. Oh my god, that little swallow is flying even faster. I'm so tired that I almost vomited blood. You could have just run by yourself. Why did you chase after that swift? Xiaochen was a little puzzled. If I don't chase after it, I won't be able to run fast. Isn't this the motivation? Taoist Luli said. Xiaochen returned to the operating theater with the divine water. You're back? I'm saved. Song Huawu was pleasantly surprised to see Xiaochen return. Well, bear with it later. Xiaochen said, I'm going to start. Well, it doesn't matter. I can bear it. Song Huawu smiled confidently. Little demonin, how do you use this thing? Xiaochen asked. Master, you just need to apply the immortal water to the affected area and then reattach the severed limb. And Little Demon said, then, use the demonic energy or internal force to inject it into the meridians of the entire leg. It can heal the wound quickly, but the effect depends on the compatibility of the demonic energy or internal force. Just like our heavenly pure monastery, Mount Tai and Dear Li's cultivation methods are similar, so their Taoist internal force is similar. That's why you can see that Dear Li is recovering faster. I see. Xiaochen thought that in this case, his vitality should be more suitable. In this way, Song Huawu's injury should be no problem. According to An Little Demon's words, Xiaochen applied the immortal water to Song Huawu's severed limb. Although Song Huawu was in pain, she didn't make a sound. She was obviously a very strong girl. This made Xiaochen very impressed. He first reattached the severed limb and then applied it to the injured left leg. After that, he prepared to circulate his mental cultivation method and inject primordial energy into Song Huawu. However, Xiaochen was a little confused. Little demon, where is the root of the meridians in the leg? Naturally, it's at the root of the thigh, and little demon said. What are you saying? Are you saying that I'm ignorant? Xiaochen snorted coldly. Ah, I wouldn't dare. Master, I know that Master is deliberately testing my intelligence. And little demon realized that his tone was wrong when he saw that Xiaochen was angry. He hurriedly begged for mercy, afraid that Xiaochen would destroy him. Humph. Xiaochen didn't continue to pay attention to him. His main focus was on Song Huawu. However, the root of the thigh. This made Xiaochen feel a little awkward. Some private parts could be seen due to the need for treatment, but reaching out to touch was a completely different matter. Other than being good friends, he and Song Huawu had no special relationship. In fact, he could even do it to Tian Suru, but Song Huawu. Although it was healing, the relationship between the two of them would probably be strange. Moreover, was Song Huawu willing? Thinking of this, Xiaochen was about to ask when Song Huawu asked curiously, Xiaochen, what's wrong? Why don't you continue? That. Huawu, in the next step, I might touch some places that I shouldn't touch. Xiaochen hesitated and said. Oh. Song Huawu's face turned red. Although she didn't understand why Xiaochen wanted to touch there, it wasn't the injured part. Her leg was broken from the middle of her thigh, but she also knew Xiaochen's character. She knew that Xiaochen wouldn't take advantage of her at this time for such a reason. Moreover, her lower body was bleeding. Normal people would be scared to death when they saw it. Who would have the mood to take advantage of her? Therefore, Song Huawu said, it's fine. Go ahead. Xiaochen nodded and took a deep breath. He extended his hands and clasped Song Huawu's seriously injured right leg. Song Huawu's body trembled because Xiaochen's hand was pressing against her. Just now, Song Huawu didn't even tremble when she was reconnecting her severed leg. But this time, it made her nervous. Xiaochen also saw Song Huawu's situation. His actions paused, and he knew that it wasn't good for him to press against her. He said with a bitter smile, I'm sorry, it's nothing. Song Huawu shook her head. You are doing it for my own good. I'm not an unreasonable person. Only then did Xiaochen relax and circulate the mental cultivation method. Song Huawu felt that the pain in her leg wasn't as intense as before. On the contrary, there was a warm and itchy feeling. At this moment, she was completely sure that Xiaochen wasn't trying to take advantage of her at all. Instead, he was really helping her heal. Song Huawu was extremely grateful. Although she and Xiaochen were good friends, she knew that devil qi was very important to cultivators for Xiaochen to help her like this. Xiaochen was obviously using his own devil qi to heal her. She reckoned that even Yang Tan, who was pursuing her, wouldn't do this at this time. Even if he took advantage of her, he wouldn't agree. Seeing that Song Huawu's wound was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, Xiaochen also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that his speculation was right. With the effect of the immortal water and the help of his primordial qi, Song Huawu's injury could be healed. Of course, this was also because they had brought Song Huawu's severed limb. Without the severed limb, it would have been impossible for Xiaochen to create the severed limb out of thin air. Time ticked by and Song Huawu's leg was also healed. Xiaochen did the same for the other leg, but Song Huawu was clearly not as nervous as before. Xiaochen, I feel that why were you called trash in the past? With your ability, you don't need to endure anything at all. Song Huawu was a little surprised that Xiaochen seemed to know everything. In the past, would you believe me if I said that I didn't know anything? Xiaochen said with a bitter smile, when you first saw me, I didn't hide my strength. In fact, it was that low. I couldn't even beat old demon Xishan. Yes. Song Huawu nodded. Then you are a genius. Xiaochen didn't say anything. He knew best whether he was a genius or not. If he was placed in the martial cultivation world, he would be a super loser. However, if he was placed in the cultivator world, he might be a genius. The definition of a genius was limited to one field. No one could do everything. Chapter 579. Alright, how do you feel? Xiaochen felt that Song Huawu's injuries had completely recovered. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, a feeling of exhaustion surged throughout his body. Song Huawu's injuries were particularly serious, so he had consumed a lot of primordial qi. Although he was a cultivator at the 9th level of the qi refinement stage, at this moment, all of his primordial qi had been consumed. The moment he relaxed, he felt a little dizzy. He didn't even have time to let go of Song Huawu before he directly laid down on top of her. And the place where Xiao Chen's head was hanging was right on top of his hand. Ah! Song Huawu was shocked. She thought that Xiao Chen had kissed her because he couldn't help it. She immediately became anxious and embarrassed. Although Xiao Chen was her savior, he couldn't act recklessly. Even if he had to ask her first. It was one thing to repay him with her body, but it was another thing to ignore him. You! What are you doing? Song Huawu's body was a little stiff. Although she was nervous, there was a strange feeling in her body. It was as if she liked Xiao Chen's behavior very much, but she felt that it should not be like this. However, in the next moment, Song Huawu felt that something was wrong. After Xiao Chen kissed her, there was no reaction, and he did not make any further movements. This made her a little puzzled. She propped herself up with both hands and saw that Xiao Chen's eyes were closed. His face was full of fatigue, and his breathing was even, as if he was asleep. Song Huawu was shocked. She wanted to call Xiao Chen, but she suddenly remembered that he must have spent a lot of physical strength and demonic qi to heal her. So now that he was resting for a while, she did not want to disturb him. Therefore, Song Huawu wanted to wait for Xiao Chen to wake up naturally. However, Xiao Chen's posture was too coquettish, especially his hand, which was still placed there. It made Song Huawu's body involuntarily heat up. In the past, because she was injured and in pain, she didn't think too much about it. But now, Song Huawu couldn't help but think about erotic things. She was also a girl who had never experienced such things. In the past, she had been busy with missions and had never come into contact with men, so she did not feel anything. But now, Song Huawu suddenly realized that she had a feeling of wanting to resist, but also welcoming, which made her a little at a loss. Gradually, Song Huawu fell in love with this feeling, but was she a slut? Why do I like Xiao Chen like this? She was even looking forward to it. Xiao Chen wasn't doing this unintentionally, but intentionally. Song Huawu was shocked by her own thoughts. She quickly shook her head to stop herself from thinking about these trivial things. She began to ponder about today's events. Since Xiao Chen knew Luli and it seemed that the two groups had reconciled, the night attack was definitely not the work of Heavenly Purity Monastery. Could it be Kai Lehu and Yorishima Kizuo? That's possible, but when did they have such great strength and firepower? If they did, wouldn't it be better to just rob them? Why would they waste so much effort to kidnap the Su family? This time, Xiao Chen did not completely pass out. He only entered the divine sense space. After entering the divine sense space, Xiao Chen discovered that he could enter the divine sense space as long as he passed out. He did not know whether it was a coincidence or it would always be like this in the future. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what happened to me? Your body's vitality is deficient, so you entered a state of coma. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. After your divine sense space is opened, you can enter whenever you are unconscious or conscious. So that's how it is. Then why didn't I come in before? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Normally, cultivators in the qi refining stage cannot have a primordial spirit, let alone something like a divine sense. Elder Heaven Ancestor explained. Normally, only cultivators in the foundation establishment stage can form a primordial spirit, and cultivators in the golden core stage can form a divine sense. Moreover, not all cultivators can do it. However, your situation is a little unexpected. Oh? Why do you say that? Xiao Chen was stunned and asked. Your deep divine sense was forcefully opened when it was possessed by An Xiaoma. Your primordial spirit was also nourished by his aura at the moment of possession and became solid. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. So, I have to thank An Xiaoma? Xiao Chen glanced at An Xiaoma. Ah, Master, I don't dare to take credit. It's just that Master has a great fortune and cultivated the heaven-seizing fortune battle art, so you have a fortune that ordinary people don't have. An Xiaoma quickly said respectfully. N. Xiao Chen nodded and ignored him. Instead, he sat cross-legged in the divine sense and began to cultivate to restore his vitality. Xiao Chen discovered that he could also cultivate in a state of unconsciousness. This was a good discovery. He slowly recovered his physical strength and vitality. After an unknown amount of time, the moment Xiao Chen was about to wake up, Xiao Chen suddenly felt the vitality in his meridians become violent at this moment. Then, with a bang, Xiao Chen returned to reality from the divine sense space. He broke through the peak of the 9th level of the Qi refinement stage. This breakthrough came too suddenly, but it was not unexpected. This was because Xiao Chen had waited for too long and had not broken through during this period of time. He did not expect that he would suddenly break through after treating Song Huawu's injuries and exhausting his energy. However, this made Xiao Chen a little surprised. In the past, although he had broken through when his physical strength was at its limit, it was only after the battle that he comprehended some opportunities and coincidentally broke through. But now, he had broken through simply by exhausting his physical strength and vitality. It was reasonable to say that it was somewhat impossible. Previously, when he was refining An Xiaoma, he had almost used all his strength. However, no matter the reason, Xiao Chen was happy. This way, he was one step closer to the 10th level of the Qi refinement realm. After that was the foundation establishment realm. As long as he entered the foundation establishment realm, he could use sword kinesis flight and do many things that he could not do before. After waking up, Xiao Chen felt strange. He seemed to be lying on something. And there was a warm feeling. The next moment, Xiao Chen was shocked. He raised his head and let go of his hand, a little embarrassed. Just now, when he was unconscious, he had been lying under Song Huawu's body. What was going on? Song Huawu did not wake him up. This time, he was really a little embarrassed. In particular, there was some crystalline unknown liquid hanging on his hand and mouth. This made Xiao Chen even more speechless. What did I do just now? He was unconscious and could not feel the situation outside at all. That. Huawu, I'm sorry, Xiao Chen looked at the thing in his hand and the corner of his mouth. He did not know whether to wipe it clean or not. Wiping it, it seemed like he was despising Song Huawu. Would she be embarrassed? If he did not wipe it, Xiao Chen would be embarrassed. Song Huawu looked at Xiao Chen and her face suddenly turned red. No. It's okay. You're too tired, that's why. Hurry up and take a bath. I didn't do it on purpose, okay, I'll help you wash up too. Xiao Chen looked at the bloodstains under Song Huawu. At this moment, her legs had already recovered, but the bloodstains were still there. I'll go by myself. Song Huawu quickly said. There's no place to bathe in the operating theater. If you simply wipe it, it might not be clean. As Xiao Chen said this, he directly activated a water ball and placed it on Song Huawu's body. He said, I will let the water ball slowly break and let it fall into the water. You can wash it, and I'll turn around and not look at you. Ah. Song Huawu was completely shocked. She was not as shocked as she was now when she saw Xiaofan activate the fireball and the ice ball martial arts skills. Xiaofan could actually activate a water ball and let it float in the air without breaking. He could even bathe her. What kind of powerful ability was this? Song Huawu quickly got up. Her body was indeed covered in bloodstains. In addition, her lower body was sticky and very uncomfortable. She was also sweating all over, so naturally, Song Huawu wanted to wash herself clean. She saw that Xiaofan was about to turn around, so she said, "Actually, you don't have to turn around. It's fine even if you look at me." Song Huawu did not know if she was psychopathic to say this. She was shocked when she said it. Did she like to be looked at by Xiaofan? Forget it. I'm only looking at the bottom now. If I look at the top, won't I have to take responsibility? Xiaofan saw that after Song Huawu finished speaking, she was stunned and at a loss. He knew that she had made a slip of the tongue and was a little embarrassed, so he teased her. Now you have to take responsibility too. Song Huawu was amused. No way. Xiaofan was stunned. I'm your subordinate. Shouldn't you be responsible for protecting me and standing up for me? Song Huawu said with a smile. That's for sure. Xiaofan was stunned for a moment before he heaved a sigh of relief. Song Huawu took off her clothes. Xiaofan turned around and slowly controlled the water ball to sprinkle water bit by bit. Song Huawu found that there was nothing wrong with her legs. They had regained their previous flexibility. However, when she was bathing, she wanted Xiaofan to peek at her. However, she also knew that Xiaofan was a gentleman and wouldn't do that. Thinking of this, Song Huawu suddenly felt that she was a pervert. Are girls also perverted? Song Huawu also knew that it was impossible between her and Xiaofan. Never mind that Xiaofan had a girlfriend. Even if he didn't, Xiaofan would eventually be irreconcilable with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Yang Tan's matter would eventually be exposed. As long as Xia Zhili was still alive, Xiaofan couldn't have a peaceful day. Yang Jiannan was one of Xia Zhili's generals. It was very convenient for him to associate with him. Now that he was gone, Xia Zhili would definitely be furious. With a sigh, Song Huawu finished bathing. She put on a hospital gown on a rack not far away and then said to Xiaofan, "Okay, you can turn around." I'm done bathing. However, when she said this, Song Huawu didn't know why she subconsciously slowed down the pace of buttoning her chest. Is she trying to seduce Xiaofan? She didn't know what she wanted to do. Chapter 580. Xiaofan came back to his senses and was stunned. He didn't expect that half of Song Huawu's ball was still outside. He quickly looked away and washed his hands and face while there was still some water left in the ball. Song Huawu could not help but feel disappointed when she saw that Xiaofan had only glanced at her. She was also a little annoyed. What are you trying to do, Song Huawu? Are you possessed by a demon? You really despise yourself. Huawu, let's go out and find a place to talk about the night attack at the research base. Xiaofan said seriously. As the leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he could not sit back and do nothing. This matter also concerned Su Chuxia. Although Su Chuxia said that there would be someone else in charge, he still had to do something. It was for no other reason than to help Song Huawu vent her anger and let him know who did it. He would definitely not let him off easy. Playing with bombs? That was too shameless. Who wouldn't want to play with bombs? Okay. Song Huawu adjusted her emotions and once again turned into the capable girl from before. She walked out of the operating room with Xiaofan. At the entrance of the operating room, Director Fu and the doctor on duty were stunned. What was going on? Song Huawu, who was supposed to have her leg amputated, could actually walk. If not for the fact that they did not see anyone else enter the operating room, they would have thought that she was Song Huawu's twin sister. It had to be said that this was a miracle in the history of medicine. Xiaofan also saw the shock of the two, but this could not be replicated. He only said, "Luli, your divine water is really useful. It's a pity that there's only a little left. Once it's used up, it'll be gone." "Ah, that's right." Luli was also shocked. How the f*ck was this possible? Even if her leg was reattached, it would definitely be difficult for her to move in the future. Even if she did not use a wheelchair, she would still have to use crutches. But now, Song Huawu was walking very dexterously. There was no problem at all. He knew that this was definitely not the credit of the divine water. It was probably because of Granduncle Master. Martial Granduncle is so awesome. However, he was also an astute person. After listening to Xiao Chen's words, he understood what was going on. Xiao Chen didn't want to expose himself. He quickly said, "Young Master Chang, you're right. This immortal water was left behind by Martial Granduncle. There's only a little left. It'll be gone once it's used up. Sigh, what a pity. Well, no matter what, thank you very much." Nodding his head, Xiao Chen replied, "Xiaofan, go and talk to President Fu first. Hua Wu will be discharged soon, and will wait for you back." "All right." Xiaofan nodded. He stayed behind to deal with the aftermath. Dean Fu's previous decision was against the rules, so Xiaofan had to complete some of the procedures afterwards. This would also prevent Dean Fu from getting into trouble. Xiao Chen, Song Huawu, and Daoist Luli left the hospital together and got into his Volkswagen Jetta. Luli stood at the side and didn't know if he should get into the car. However, Xiao Chen waved at him and said, "You can get in too, Luli. There are no outsiders in the car this time." Regarding his relationship with Song Huawu, Xiao Chen could only classify them as friends. Therefore, Xiao Chen didn't intend to hide some secrets from her. Hearing this, Luli quickly got into the car. Then, he glanced at Song Huawu and said, "Martial Granduncle, this must be Martial Grandaunt." "Pfft. Ahem, what did you say?" Song Huawu's eyes widened as she looked at Daoist Luli strangely. "Huawu, this Daoist Luli is now my grand disciple." Looking at the surprised Song Huawu, Xiao Chen explained, "So they withdrew from the operation against the Su family." How is that possible?" Song Huawu was a little puzzled. Back then, this Daoist Luli was beaten up badly. Even if he didn't die and recovered, he couldn't just bear a grudge and become Xiao Chen's disciple, right? It's hard to explain. In short, I'm now Xiao Chang, and also his martial granduncle, said Xiao Chen. It's really strange. Why are there so many strange things happening to you? Song Huawu didn't pursue the matter. She could probably tell that Xiao Chen and Luli still had a different relationship. There were some things that she couldn't tell him directly, so she didn't ask further. Yes, Martial Granduncle's ability is very powerful. That immortal water is just a support. Now, Martial Grandaunt can already move freely. It's really amazing. Daoist Luli exclaimed, by the way, Martial Granduncle, I still have internal injuries. I ran too fast just now and almost died. Can you help me recover? I'm not asking for that. I just feel that it's faster to run errands for you. Whoosh, whoosh. Oh, give me your hand. Xiao Chen didn't refuse. He took Daoist Luli's hand, checked his pulse, and checked his injuries. Sure enough, he hadn't fully recovered. Now that he had regained his physical strength and vitality, he began to circulate the mantra to heal Daoist Luli's injuries. Anyway, with Xiaoma here, Daoist Luli wouldn't be able to play any tricks. I'm done. Daoist Luli felt the meridians in his body gradually recover and immediately exclaimed, that's amazing. Martial Granduncle, our heavenly pure monastery must be amazing in the future. Keep a low profile. Xiao Chen frowned and warned, also, don't get involved in the matter with Kai Lehu and the others. By the way, let me ask you, the research base was attacked tonight. Do you know what happened? This. Just now, outside the operating room, Xiaofan had already told Daoist Luli about the matter. Although he didn't know the relationship between Daoist Luli and Xiao Chen, it was obvious that Daoist Luli came to deliver medicine, so he was probably one of them. So Xiaofan asked him about the situation tonight, but our heavenly pure monastery didn't participate in it. After you told me, Marshal Granduncle, I told Kai Lehu that we quit. Could it be that they did it tonight? It's impossible. How can they have such great ability? If they did, they would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? That's what I'm wondering too. Xiaochen furrowed his brows and muttered to himself. Tonight's incident was too sudden and too illogical. He found it hard to believe that Kai Lehu and Yorishima Kikuo were the culprits. However, if they were not the culprits, who else could it be? While thinking, Xiao Chen's phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was Xia Zhili calling. Xiao Chen quickly answered the phone. Jiannan, it's me. I heard that Hua Wu was seriously injured and needs to be amputated. I'm sorry for your loss. There are women everywhere. You don't have to hang on to one tree. When Xia Zhili heard the report previously, he knew that Xiao Chang went to the hospital to see Song Hua Wu. Thank you for your concern, Deputy Director Xia. Xiao Chen quickly said, however, Hua Wu is fine. Someone helped here, so Hua Wu was treated. Oh? She's fine? Xia Zhili couldn't help but be a little surprised. Xiao Chen nodded and said, it was the people from the heavenly pure temple. They have some ancestral celestial water, which is very effective in healing wounds. However, there's only this much left. Unfortunately, there's no more. He was afraid that Xia Zhili would ask for it, so he simply said that there was no more, saving Xia Zhili the trouble of asking. Sure enough, Xia Zhili was a little regretful. There's no more. This is a good thing. However, isn't the heavenly pure temple an enemy? How can they give you celestial water? Oh, I tried to reason with them and move them with their emotions. They had already withdrawn previously. As Taoists, they shouldn't participate in these worldly disputes. After I finished speaking, they deeply believed me and decided to turn over a new leaf. Xiao Chen said. I see. Then you're quite amazing. Xia Zhili nodded after listening and said, well, since Hua Wu is fine, that's great. I called you because I have something to tell you. The matter has been investigated. The Clariman family from Lego Town in Europe should be the ones who did it. They came here illegally, so there's no record of them entering or leaving the country. However, we can find this clue from the people who stayed at the scene. However, although we've investigated the people who did it, we're still a step too late in blocking the main road. They left via private helicopter. They're very familiar with the surrounding terrain of Lan City, so they specifically flew towards the mountainous area. There's no surveillance there, so we don't know where they went. However, one thing is for sure. The other party must have received them in Lan City. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to retreat so quickly. Oh? In other words, they ran away? Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Why did Xia Zhili's tone sound so indifferent, as if the matter had nothing to do with him? Yes. Xia Zhili said, however, Deputy Director Cha is in charge of the security of the research base. This old thing is going to suffer this time. He made such a big mistake. Let's see what he's going to do at the end of the year report. In the past, he always thought that he was more experienced than me, so he always asked to be ranked before me. This time, let's see if he has any face left. Ha ha ha. Xiao Chen was really speechless, but he still said, then, congratulations, Deputy Director Xia. It's fine as long as we don't have to take responsibility. Well, of course not. You've done your best. You've persuaded Tianqing Monastery to surrender. That's also a great merit. Don't worry, I'll ask for credit for you during the report. Xia Zhili said. Thank you, Deputy Director Xia, Xiaochen said quickly. There's one more thing. The research base's data has been stolen, so naturally, we have to recover it. Therefore, there's a mission now to go to the Klarman family in Lego Town in Europe and recover the research data. Even if we can't recover it, we have to find a way to destroy it. We can't let the data leak out. Xia Zhili said, this mission is very difficult. After all, it's someone else's territory. If our people go there, they might be killed before they can do anything. Therefore, I didn't agree to it. It's up to you. Jiannan, I think you're a capable person. What do you think? If you successfully complete this important mission, your status in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau will not be what it is now. Chapter 581. Oh. Xiaochen was non-committal. If he completed this mission, he would indeed get the opportunity to be promoted, but the one who would benefit the most was Xia Zhili. He was one of his people. He was now desperately trying to improve his ranking in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and Xiaochen's contribution was his capital. As for Xiaochen himself, even if he was promoted, it would be Yang Tan who was promoted. It had nothing to do with him. His identity would eventually be exposed, and he would not be able to stay for long. Now, in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team B, there is still an empty position for the deputy team leader. Although the rank is the same as the team leader of Team C, everyone knows that whoever sits in this position actually goes there to take over. Xia Zhili said, the team leader of Team B was seriously injured a few years ago and is unable to recover. Currently, he is only in this position. If there is a suitable person to replace him, he will retire to recuperate. If it was the previous Yang Jiannan, he would definitely be tempted by this. Xiaochen knew Yang Jiannan's character. This person was very keen on power, but Xiaochen was not. However, if he acted indifferent at this time, he would be suspected, so Xiaochen immediately said, "Is that so? That's good. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, then I will do it. Help me take this mission." Okay, I knew you would definitely take it. I have already gotten the mission information. I am just waiting for you to nod, and I will send it to you. Xia Zhili said with a laugh. Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. Fortunately, he had agreed to it. If he had rejected, Xia Zhili would definitely suspect him. Xiaochen continued to ask, then wouldn't the research materials be spread after he returns? Even if I go there, I won't be able to control it. One had to know that electronic information was very easy to copy. A simple copy could make many backups. That won't happen, because the information is encrypted. It is an encrypted chip. If it is not decrypted, no data can be read at all. Moreover, normal brute force cracking won't work. The chip has a self-destruction device. Brute force cracking will melt and destroy itself. Xia Zhili said, in the short term, there is no need to worry about the information being leaked. I see. Are you sure that the information is with the Clariman family? Xiaochen nodded and asked. I'm not sure yet. If you want to accept this mission, you need to investigate in detail before you can act, Xia Zhili said. Alright, I got it. Xiaochen nodded and said, I'll take this task. If there are any new developments, please let me know immediately. Thank you. Well said, well said. When Xia Zhili heard Xiaochang agree so readily, he was very happy. This way, he would be even more qualified when he reported his work. After hanging up the phone, Song Huawu asked, how was it? Did you agree to some mission? Well, it's like this. Xiaochen repeated Xia Zhili's words. On the other side, before Song Huawu could say anything, Taoist Luli slapped his thigh and shouted, damn, I know. This person from the Clariman family contacted us before and wanted to join us. At that time, we did not agree because the other party had not come yet. They only contacted us through special channels from overseas. I know. This time, they are led by a person named Vikings. It must be Kai Lehu and Vikings working together. I know that Midnight Island Kikuo has a map of the research base, and Kai Lehu has been operating in Lon City for many years. It would be easy to escape through them. With the few of them working together, there should be no suspense. Oh. Xiaofan frowned. Sure enough, it was related to Kai Lehu and Midnight Island Kikuo. Thinking of this, Xiaofan said, Luli, call Mount Tai. Do you dare to follow me to the Wave Club to destroy the place? Aya, what the F***ck kill them. Just one word from Marshal Granduncle. Taoist Luli quickly said, I'll call Master now. As he spoke, Taoist Luli took out his mobile phone and sent a Weishin to Daoist Taishan. Xiaofan said, Taoist Luli and Daoist Taishan are really advanced. They both know how to use Weishin. On Xiaofan's side, he called Wang Fantian. There's a fight. Come to the entrance of the First People's Hospital. I'm coming. Wang Fantian quickly replied. The next morning, at dawn, Daoist Taishan and Wang Fantian arrived. Wang Fantian drove his sports car. The two cars, one in front and one behind, arrived at the entrance of the Wave Club under the command of Taoist Luli. The construction of this club is quite luxurious. Xiaofan glanced at the club and curled his lips. TSK, especially this door. The decorations at the door, the bonsai, the stone carvings, the antique style. Smash it for me. Puff. Taoist Luli was about to come over and flatter them, saying that it was beautiful. However, when he heard Xiaofan's last sentence, he almost spat it out. Fantian is here. Wang Fantian loved this kind of work the most. He picked up a big tortoise stone carving at the door. This stone carving was at least a few £1,000, but Wang Fantian picked it up as if he was picking up a ball of cotton. Whoosh, he smashed it at the antique vermilion door. Bang! The door didn't break open, but it directly smashed a hole. It was even more miserable. The door was directly destroyed. The loud noise awakened the martial artists in the Wave Club. In an instant, the inside was brightly lit. Then, many martial arts instructors and disciples in training clothes rushed out. Who dares to smash the place here? The person who took the lead was the chief instructor of the Wave Club, whose strength was second only to Kai Lehu. He had the strength of a half-step martial master. Usually, he was an arrogant existence, but today, when he saw the big stone tortoise on the ground, his eyes twitched. This big tortoise weighed thousands of pounds. Even a martial master would find it hard to lift it, let alone a martial artist. But now, it was smashed on the door. Not only was the door broken, but the big tortoise was also broken. What a huge force! Where are Kai Lehu and Kai Wujin? Let the two of them come out. Daoist Luli had become a lackey at this time. He stepped forward and ordered arrogantly. Taoist Luli. The chief instructor was stunned. When he saw that the person who came out was Taoist Luli, he was immediately stunned. Although he was powerful and was an expert martial artist at the peak of the 10th level of internal strength, he was not an opponent of Taoist Luli, who was a martial master. He subconsciously took 2 steps back. Taoist Luli, what do you mean by this? Did our Spur Club offend your Tianqing Taoist temple? You didn't offend us, but I'm here to help today. Taoist Luli said, we are just supporting characters today. Hurry up and let Kai Lehu and Kai Wujin come out to die. Help? Taoist Luli, we have never had any grudges. How can you help others? That's not right, right? The chief instructor said with some confusion. Aya, damn it, why do you have so much to say? I asked you to look for Kai Lehu and Kai Wujin. I'm not going to talk to you. You are too lowly. Taoist Lu Li said angrily. You. The chief instructor was furious, but he was no match for Taoist Lu Li. He did not dare to make a move and could only pant. At this time, an angry voice sounded. It was Kai Lehu's voice. Taoist Lu Li, aren't you going too far? I didn't provoke you, but you came to find trouble with us. Even if we don't cooperate now, we were on the same side before, right? You actually helped Xiao Chang to find trouble with me? Xiao Chang, you won the martial arts challenge last time. We also kept our promise and didn't find trouble with the Su family. However, do you really think that the Kai family is a pushover? Do you still care about the rules of the martial arts world? Kai Wujin said angrily. However, although he said that, he really didn't dare to do anything to Xiao Chen. He, Taoist Lu Li, and Yakashima Kikuo were no match for Xiao Chang. Although there was a sneak attack, Taoist Lu Li and Taoist Tai Shan were on Xiao Chang's side. There was also Wang Fangtian, who was a fool. The father and son were no match for Xiao Chang at all. Don't say useless things. You are really a pushover. Xiao Chen smiled coldly and waved his hand. Then, he said, you didn't touch the Su family? Why did you join forces with the Clariman family to attack the research base? You even seriously injured Song Huawu? Do you dare to say that you did not participate? This. Kai Lehu hesitated. Of course not. What does this have to do with us? That was done by the Clariman family. Did you find the wrong person? Kai Wujin had made up his mind. He couldn't admit to this matter. There were still people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau present. However, he was also puzzled. Wasn't Song Huawu crippled by the explosion? Why is she still standing here, perfectly fine? Could it be that Vikings was bragging to me? That guy is a liar. If that's the case, it would be unwise to let him take the encrypted chip away. I didn't find the wrong person. Wang Fangtian, you go and beat him until he admits it. Xiao Chen ordered Wang Fangtian. You are making a confession under torture. Is this how the Supernatural Investigation Bureau handles cases? Kai Lehu was shocked. This Xiao Chang is going to be unreasonable. Huh? Xiao Chen was a little amused. Who told you that I am from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Have you forgotten that I am Tian Sour's boyfriend? Oh, I know. You were beaten silly by Wang Fangtian last time. You. Kai Lehu was stunned. After thinking about it, it seemed that Xiao Chang really wasn't from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Lu Li, Tai Shan, the two of you go and help too. The two of you, one on the left and one on the right, hold Kai Wujin and beat him to death. Anyway, you don't have to be responsible if you kill him, Xiao Chen said. Hee, okay. Tai Shan and Lu Li responded and were about to hold Kai Wujin. Kai Lehu was shocked and wanted to stop them. You are not following the rules. Don't move. Xiao Chen roared and pointed at Kai Lehu. Why don't you try moving again? Do you believe that I will kill you first? Chapter 582. Ga. Only then did Kai Lehu realize that Xiao Chen was still glaring at him. He quickly stopped in his tracks. On the other side, Tai Shan and Lu Li had already blocked Kai Wujin from the left and right. Wang Fangtian had already been injured. With each step, Kai Wujin was beaten until he vomited blood. However, it was 3 against 1. No matter how strong Kai Wujin was, he was no match for them. He could only take the beating. Hey! Can you guys stop fighting? If you continue, someone will die. Kai Lehu was fuming with anger, but there was nothing he could do. Don't talk about those useless things. Where are the people from the Clariman family? Xiao Chen asked. How would the Kai family know? You should be from the Clariman family. Kai Lehu said with a bitter face. Oh, if you don't know, then beat him to death. If you know, consider it a meritorious service, and I won't beat you to death. Xiao Chen said indifferently, now I'm looking for you to fight. If you win, you can avoid death. If you don't win, then just wait to be beaten to death. Kai Lehu was a little dumbfounded. Isn't this 2F** king unreasonable? There is such a person. Really? He looked at Kai Wujin, who was about to be beaten to death, and his face turned green. Wang Fantian continued to beat Kai Wujin to death, and Kai Wujin's internal organs were about to spit out. He was about to die, and his eyes were already rolling back. Kai Lehu gritted his teeth and could only say, okay, stop, I'll talk. Oh, don't stop first. Continue beating him. I want to see if what he said is useful. If not, continue beating him to death. Xiao Chen said. He. Wang Fantian continued to beat him to death. I've already said it. Hurry up and stop. Let me tell you, Wu Jin is an inner disciple of the martial arts world. If he is beaten to death, you will not be able to get away with it. Kai Lehu threatened. Okay, hurry up and say it. If you don't, he might die. Xiao Chen waved his hand impatiently. If he dies, it will be because of you. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I'll talk. Kai Lehu said with a sad face, I'll talk, okay. Yes, it was our Kai family who helped them leave, but they also took away the encrypted chip. They should be out at sea now, heading back to Lego Town in Europe. Oh, that's enough. Stop fighting. Xiao Chen waved his hand, indicating that Wang Fantian could stop. Actually, don't be fooled by Wang Fangtian's severe beating. This kid had a sense of propriety. He wouldn't kill them, but he would scare them a little. Oh. Before Wang Fangtian stopped, he kicked Kai Wujin's crotch, causing him to cry out in pain. You. Kai Lehu was furious. We're just accomplices. Now that we've said it, we haven't gotten any benefits, so please let us go. What about Yorishima Kikuo? Xiao Chen asked, is he the same? You got nothing? Yes, they're only responsible for the map. There's an insider in the research base. The specific execution is done by Vikings from the Claryman family. Kai Lehu said truthfully. Okay, then let's talk about something else, said Xiao Chen. Ugh. What else is there? I've said everything that needs to be said. Kai Lehu asked nervously. The compensation for the defeat, Tianqing Monastery has already given me 1 million. Now it's your turn. Said Xiao Chen. This isn't very good, right? Kai Lehu said, we're very poor. Yeah? Xiao Chen stared. What about the money you gave to Taoist Luli before? He has already given me 1 million. It's your turn. I'll discuss it with you now. If you don't have it, I'll let someone go in and move the things. Take whatever is valuable. Let's talk about it after we've collected 1 million. Ugh, 1 million, I don't have it. Kai Lehu said quickly, I thought you wanted a lot. I'll give it to you now. As Kai Lehu spoke, he got someone to take out a check, write a 1 million check, and give it to Xiao Chen. At least you're sensible, but it's not empty, right? If you can't exchange it, your house will catch fire tomorrow. Xiao Chen took the check and glanced at it. No. I really can't. Kai Lehu said quickly, frightened. Oh, if that's the case, let's go. Xiao Chen nodded and left with his people. Kai Lehu quickly picked up Kai Wujin and asked, Wujin, how are you? Are you alright? These people are too overbearing and vicious. However, he had never thought that all of this was because they provoked Xiao Chen first. If they hadn't wanted to harm the Su family, how could these things have happened? Dad, I'm fine. Kai Wujin shook his head and said weakly, I know. This Wang Fantian just wanted to scare and torture me, but he didn't want my life. Although I seem to be seriously injured, I won't die. That's good. Kai Lehu breathed a sigh of relief. Kai Wujin was the hope and pillar of the Kai family. If anything happened to him, it would be too late for regrets. I won't let it go just like that. Once I hear about it, I will find a chance to report it to the sect and let them stand up for me. Kai Wujin said with hatred, I have never suffered such a big loss before. If you have the chance, you will naturally take revenge. Kai Lehu nodded. But for now, don't provoke him. I understand. I'm not an impulsive person. Kai Wujin said. Xiaochen took Song Huawu, Taoist Lu Li, Taoist Tai Shan, and Wang Fantian to discuss the next plan with Song Huawu. Xiaochen, are you really going to Claremont Town? Song Huawu said, that's their territory. You really shouldn't have accepted this mission. It's not that I didn't want to accept it, but I couldn't refuse it. You saw the situation at the time. Xiaochen smiled bitterly. But this matter, the sooner the better. Are you going with me? Of course I'm going with you. Song Huawu nodded. It's just that my strength may be lower. That's fine. You're more familiar with firearms than me. This time, we don't necessarily have to fight head-on. Since the other party used those firearms, don't you plan to return them? Xiaochen said with a smile. When the time comes, we'll blow them up. Using firearms on a large scale isn't very good, right? Song Huawu was a little hesitant. It's their territory anyway. Who cares? Xiaochen didn't care. He was never a person who was afraid of trouble. Since he was going to do it, he would do it in a big way. At most, he would just leave. Yang Tan would be the scapegoat for him. Song Huawu nodded. Then I'll go back and prepare. Okay, I need to prepare too. Xiaochen looked at the time. It was almost time to go to school. He prepared to go to school and bid farewell to Su Chuxia and Tian Souring. The mission ended here. He believed that Su Chuxia should know what happened. Xiaochen parked the car downstairs. After waiting for a while, Su Chuxia and Tian Souring arrived. Both of them had a strange expression on their faces. For the first time, Tian Souring didn't nag when he got into the car. Su Chuxia quietly opened the car door and got in. Morning. Xiaochen started the car. Su Chuxia nodded. Last night, you should know about the research base. I have to go. Xiaochen tried his best to maintain a smile, but for some reason, he still felt a little melancholic. He didn't spend much time with Su Chuxia and Tian Souring, but everyone got along well, especially Tian Souring. Xiaochen even pretended to be her boyfriend for a few days. Why are you leaving? You haven't caught up with Sister Souring yet, right? You haven't confessed yet. Tian Souring pouted and was a little unhappy. Souring, Xiaochang has a mission. He can't play with us. Don't delay it, Su Chuxia said to her. Although she was comforting her, Su Chuxia herself was a little melancholic. The research base's data has been stolen. I have no choice. I have to go to Europe's Claremont Town and retrieve the data. Xiaochen said, this is my new mission. The mission to protect you here will end at the same time, oh. Su Chuxia nodded. Thank you for all this time. I've troubled you. Thank you very much, it's okay. This is also my duty. Xiaochen smiled and said, Souring, don't worry. Before I leave, I will confess to you. But you have to let me prepare. Ah, that's more like it. Tian Souring was happy again. Then, after you return from the Claremont family, will you still come to Lon City's New Moon College to study? It shouldn't be possible. Xiaochen shook his head. I don't even know what my next mission is. Okay. Sister Souring is so disappointed. Someone just confessed, and your boyfriend is going to disappear. Tian Souring said. Didn't you say it was fake? Su Chuxia said, Souring, why did you make it real? Ah, that's not it. Tian Souring quickly shook her head. The car went all the way to school. Xiao Chen arrived at his class. He could have stopped going to school today. The reason he came was to say goodbye to his deskmate, Ling Qinxue. Although Xiao Chen suspected that Ling Qinxue was Ling Qinxue's tone did not seem to be fake. Xiao Chen wondered if he had made a mistake. Was this just a coincidence? If not for Ling Qinxue was still a good girl. The two of them got along quite well, so Xiao Chen planned to say goodbye to her. However, Ling Qinxue had not arrived yet. Xiao Chen sat alone in his seat. He took out his mobile phone and used Weixin to create a group of followers. He added Taoist Lu Li, Taoist Taishan, Xia Shibin, and Wang Fantian. He sent a message to these followers. I want to confess to a girl today. Can any of you help me plan it more romantic? Boss, you will definitely be a hero if you jump from a building. Awesome. Wang Fantian was the first to reply. Chapter 583. Boss, give her a bottle of beautifying and nourishing celestial water. It will definitely be effective. Daoist Taishan said. Aya, F*ck, boss, just send her to a hotel, and then, Aya, F*ck, you know, Daoist Lu Li said. F*ck off. Xiao Chen replied. Boss, I'm good at this. Xia Shibin came. Girls like romance. Don't worry, I'll prepare a candle array, a sea of flowers, and a hot air balloon for you. I guarantee it will be super romantic and successful. Xia Shibin's idea is not bad. Xiao Chen thought, this guy used to hang out with Yang Tan, it seems like he did this kind of thing a lot. Is that so? Then, boss, I'll go prepare. Xia Shibin said quickly when he heard it. Go. I'll confess to Tian Sour. Xiao Chen said, oh right, can it be done at noon? No problem. Xia Shibin said. However, after Xiao Chen arranged everything, Ling Qinxue still didn't come to school when it was almost time for class. This made Xiao Chen a little surprised. The homeroom teacher, Teacher Chen, walked into the classroom and said to everyone, let me tell you a piece of news. Ling Qinxue has left New Moon Academy because of the change of her parents' jobs. She has transferred schools today. Ah. Everyone was a little disappointed and surprised after hearing this, especially the boys. Ling Qinxue was very cute. She was the goddess after Su Chuxia and Tian Sour. Some boys had already secretly fallen in love with her, but they didn't expect Ling Qinxue to transfer schools again in just a few days. This is a letter that Ling Qinxue asked me to give to her deskmate, Xiao Chang. Because she was in a hurry, she couldn't personally thank Xiao Chang for taking care of her these days, so she wrote a letter to express her gratitude. Teacher Chen said, Xiao Chang, come and get the letter. Okay. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect Ling Qinxue to transfer schools. Could it be, she is Ling Qinxue? Because Night Island's mission is over, there's no need for her to stay here anymore? Xiao Chen took the letter. The letter was sealed. Obviously, Teacher Chen didn't peek at it. It could be seen that she was a very open-minded teacher. She wouldn't peek at a student's letter. Xiao Chen returned to his seat. Professor Chen also began to teach, while Xiao Chen opened Ling Qinxue's letter. Although the letter was very long, it was basically to thank Xiao Chang for taking care of her during this period of time, as well as some of the things that had happened in the past few days. After Xiao Chen finished reading the letter, he was even more suspicious. Was this Ling Qinxue really Ling Qinxue? It couldn't be, right? Otherwise, that Ling Qianxue from before had always wanted to kill him, and this Ling Qianxue even said goodbye to him. With Ling Qianxue's personality, she shouldn't have done this. As he flipped through the letter in his hand, Xiaochen suddenly froze. Because, at the beginning of the letter, there was actually a sentence that was hidden in the letter: Xiao Qiangjuan, someone wants to kill you, leave this place quickly. Xiaochen was stunned. He didn't think that this was a coincidence, because this was too much of a coincidence. He looked at it carefully, and it was definitely done by Ling Qianxue on purpose. Because the number of words in each paragraph of the letter was not very neat, it should be to deliberately put together this hidden sentence, so there was no way to maintain the neat format. However, after seeing this sentence, Xiaochen felt even more that this Ling Qianxue was not Ling Qianxue. That Ling Qianxue wanted to kill him, and with someone helping her, she would probably be even more happy. Why would she remind him to let him leave? It was simply impossible. It seemed that he was thinking too much. There were probably many people with the same name in Japan, and their surnames were all different, so he didn't try to link them together. He just sighed, and he had to leave. Ling Qianxue would probably become a passerby in his life. Perhaps after some time, when he thought about it, he would have a special memory. After putting away the letter, Xiaochen laid on the table to rest. After tossing and turning last night, he still had to have a good rest. As for Ling Qianxue asking him to leave, Xiaochen didn't care. There were many people who wanted to kill him, so there was no need for him to hide. In the blink of an eye, it was noon break. However, some students who had finished classes early left the school building, and there were waves of cheers and exclamations coming from below. Su Chuxia and Tian Saoring planned to go to the cafeteria to eat as usual, but when they walked out of the school building, they saw a large group of people surrounding the field in front of the school building. They walked over curiously, but when the surrounding people saw Su Chuxia and Tian Saoring, they all consciously made way for them. This made the two of them very curious. Why did they make way for them? However, when they walked in front of them, they were stunned. This was because this was a flower candles array. In the middle of the flower candles array, there was a hot air balloon with a banner on it that said, "Saoring, I love you." Holy sh*t, it can't be. Is this for real? A nouveau riche proposed to Sister Saoring. Tian Saoring looked at everything in front of him in surprise. Xiao Chang, right? Su Chuxia said. Aya, can't you break Sister Saoring's beautiful dream? Sister Saoring still doesn't know it's Xiao Chang. Tian Saoring's eyes were full of little stars. But Xiao Chang is still fake. Aya, you're satisfied that he's fake? Su Chuxia curled her lips. She felt that Tian Saoring was not satisfied. It was already very good that Xiao Chang was like this because of her, a fake girlfriend. At the end of the day, Xiao Chang was just a special agent who protected her. He even cooperated with Saoring's nonsense. What was there for Saoring to be dissatisfied with? Saoring, be my girlfriend. Xiaochen carried a bouquet of flowers and walked in front of Tian Saoring. He handed it to her. Ah! Tian Saoring rubbed her eyes. Is it true? You actually like Sister Saoring so much. Sister Saoring is so touched. Xiaochen was a little speechless. Didn't she ask him to do all this? However, at this time, in order not to spoil the atmosphere, Xiaochen still said, "Yes, can you promise me?" Tian Saoring didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked very reserved. Promise him. Promise him. Promise him. Promise him. The students who were watching from the side all spontaneously shouted at this time. N. Tian Saoring took the flowers and lowered her head shyly. She humphed lightly. Hug. 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 The students who were watching from the side continued to shout. Come on. Xiaochen opened his arms. Tian Souring handed the flowers in her hands to Su Chuxia. Then, she lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen hugged Tian Souring. Tian Souring's body trembled slightly, but she didn't struggle. Instead, she buried her head in Xiao Chen's arms and hugged Xiao Chen's waist. Kiss. 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 The students who were watching from the side wanted to see the world in chaos. Tian Souring's body trembled slightly in Xiao Chen's arms. There's no need for that. It's quite sour and shy. Xiao Chen smiled as he helped her out of the predicament. However, what Xiao Chen didn't expect was that Tian Souring suddenly raised her head. Her lips gently pecked Xiao Chen's lips before moving away. Then, she broke free from Xiao Chen's embrace and quickly left. Su Chuxia glanced at Xiao Chen and went to chase after Tian Souring. Xiao Chen didn't chase after her. Instead, he sighed slightly. He didn't know if Tian Souring was playing around or what, but he also had to leave. He quickly walked out of the crowd. Everyone thought that he also went to chase after Tian Souring. In fact, Xiao Chen went to the parking lot. Xia Shibin would help him settle the procedures to leave the school. He had to prepare to go to the Clariman family in Lego Town. Souring, why did you take the initiative to kiss him just now? Have you really fallen for Xiao Chang? Su Chuxia's expression was very serious. She caught up with Tian Souring and asked her. Of course not. Do you think Sister Souring will fall so easily? Tian Souring said. However, the happiness on her face made Su Chuxia feel that Tian Souring was lying. Then why did you take the initiative to kiss Xiao Chang? Su Chuxia asked. Isn't that the situation back then? Everyone was shouting that I couldn't kiss him. Tian Souring scratched her head and said awkwardly, then, Sister Souring got excited and couldn't help it. I think you're just in love, right? Su Chuxia carefully observed Tian Souring's expression. She felt that there must be something wrong with Tian Souring. How could that be? Tian Souring quickly said. Souring, let me tell you, Xiao Chang is only here to carry out a mission and will leave very soon. There's no result even if you like him. Don't fall for it yourself. Su Chuxia reminded her. Although Xiao Chang was a good person, Su Chuxia had to admit that Xiao Chang and Tian Souring weren't suitable. They could be friends, but as a boyfriend, I know. Also, isn't Souring going to be taken back by the family? Tian Souring said with a smile, Chuxia, don't worry. Sister Souring knows the severity of the situation. Okay. Su Chuxia nodded. Control your emotions. Okay. I'm hungry. Let's eat. Tian Souring said. Why do you only know how to date other than eating? This school is for you. Su Chuxia was really speechless. Hey, what date? That's fake. Tian Souring quickly explained. I don't care. Su Chuxia shook her head. However, what Su Chuxia and Tian Souring didn't expect was that Xiao Chen actually didn't appear again in the afternoon. Teacher Chen, the homeroom teacher, announced an explosive news. Student Xiao Chang also transferred schools due to some reasons. I really didn't expect that within a day, 2 students in our class would transfer schools. Teacher Chen said with a sigh. Xiao Chang was a good student. Originally, she wanted to use Xiao Chang to increase her teaching reputation, but she didn't expect Xiao Chang to transfer schools at this time. Chapter 584. Could it be that Xiao Chang and Ling Qianxue had arranged to transfer schools together? Teacher Chen shook his head when he thought of this. If that was the case, Ling Qianxue wouldn't have asked him to bring her a letter. It was obviously not arranged. It was just a coincidence. At this moment, many of the students who had experienced the confession at noon understood that Xiao Chang might have already known that he was going to transfer schools. Therefore, before he left, he confessed to his beloved goddess, Tian Souring. Seeing Tian Souring's dazed expression, the student sighed. Sister Souring had fallen for him. Souring, what's wrong? Su Chuxia also felt that something was wrong with Tian Souring's mood. Nothing. Tian Souring didn't know why, but she suddenly felt like crying. She leaned on the table and said weakly, Chuxia, I'm a little tired. I'm going to rest for a while. You don't want Xiaochang to leave? Su Chuxia also noticed something. Chuxia, do you want to? Tian Souring asked in return. I don't want to either. Su Chuxia was stunned. She realized that during this period of time, Xiaochang's days were quite good. They were happy every day, and he often cooked and sent them to and from school. Sigh, life is full of parting. Tian Souring sighed with vicissitudes. Sister Souring's relationship ended before it even started. You really took it seriously? Su Chuxia asked suspiciously. Then shouldn't I invest a little more? Tian Souring said. Forget it, I'll just treat it as a breakup. Long live the breakup. On the other side, Xiaochen had already gone to the airport with Song Huawu. To the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it was very easy to add 2 extra plane tickets at the last minute. The two of them used aliases this time. Xiaochen's name was Yang Tan, and Song Huawu's name was Hua Xiaowu. The two of them were a couple from the Xia Kingdom. They were going to Lego Town for a vacation and needed to transfer a few planes to get to Lego Town. Both of them were expert cultivators. Therefore, even though it was a long journey, they didn't seem very tired. After transferring several planes, and finally taking a train, the two of them arrived near Lego Town. However, it wasn't Lego Town yet. Because Lego Town was located on an island, if the two of them wanted to go there, they had to take a boat. As for the boats, there was only one trip every morning. They would leave early in the morning and return late at night. At this time, there were no more boats. Thus, the two of them booked a room at a place called Masri Restaurant, on the opposite shore to rest. It was not unusual for the two of them to share a room. In order to prevent their identities from being exposed during a mission, they had to endure it no matter what. Moreover, with the relationship between Xiaochen and Song Huawu, there was no need to hide it at all. They had seen what they should see, and they had seen what they should not see. Xiaochen, I want to take a shower. Do you want to go first or should I? Song Huawu came to the room and lay down on the bed lazily. Her physical strength was not as good as Xiaochen's, so she was still a little tired. Do you want to join us? Xiaochen teased. Sure. Song Huawu smiled and said, Do you dare? I don't dare. Forget it. Xiaochen shook his head. I knew it. Song Huawu stood up and walked to the bathroom. In the end, she even said, Coward. Xiaochen was a little speechless. Song Huawu had been teasing him along the way. Did she think that she was not afraid of anything after being seen by him? Actually, Song Huawu was not joking. She really hoped that Xiaochen would come and peek. She did not know if there was something wrong with her. She only knew that in the past, Yang Jiannan always wanted to peek at her, but she was always on guard. But now, she wanted to peek at Xiaochen. Was it because Yang Jiannan had messed with her that she was mentally abnormal? After taking a shower, Song Huawu came out in a bathrobe. She did not wear anything inside. She went to bed. Xiaochen glanced at her and said, Huawu, do you really think that I don't dare to push you? Oh. Song Huawu responded and looked at the magazine on the bedside. She was proficient in many languages, so she had no difficulty reading. This made Xiaochen very helpless. He could only go and take a shower. After Xiaochen took a shower, Song Huawu was still on the bed. He did not know what she was doing. She did not watch TV properly. She took the remote control and changed the channel. What are you doing? Asked Xiaochen. I heard that foreign hotels have erotic channels. I'm looking for one, said Song Huawu. Why are you looking for that? Xiao Chen was stunned. He thought to himself, I didn't see it. After interacting with her for a while, I realized that Song Huawu was a sultry type. To watch it with you. Song Huawu said matter-of-factly. Alright, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. Are you coming? Asked Xiao Chen. I've been hungry for a long time. Song Huawu jumped out of bed and put on her clothes. She took off her pajamas and wore nothing underneath. She did not care that Xiao Chen was beside her. Xiao Chen was stunned. He turned around and said, Huawu, can't you avoid it? Aren't we a couple? Song Huawu asked. But, isn't that a disguise in front of outsiders? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. The details determine success or failure. If you are usually secretive, you might make a mistake at a critical moment. Song Huawu said, as an excellent agent, you can't have complicated thoughts. We do all this for the mission. Alright, then did you and Yang Jianen carry out missions like this in the past? Asked Xiao Chen. In his dreams, said Song Huawu. Xiao Chen didn't understand Song Huawu's logic. After putting on their clothes, the two of them went downstairs side by side. There was a restaurant downstairs. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu walked in. Xiao Chen didn't know the language here. At this moment, there were many people in the restaurant. Xiao Chen looked around and found an empty seat to sit down. However, a waiter came over and said something to him. He didn't understand, so he turned to look at Song Huawu. Song Huawu began to communicate with the waiter on the side. After a while, the waiter nodded and took out the menu. What does he want to do? Asked Xiao Chen. Nothing. He said that this table has been reserved, but half an hour has passed since the reservation, so he let us use it first, said Song Huawu. Oh. Xiao Chen didn't mind. Instead, he looked at the pictures on the menu and casually ordered a few things. Song Huawu added a few more, and the waiter went to work. The efficiency of serving the dishes was very fast. Not long after, the dishes were served. Just as Xiao Chen and Song Huawu were about to enjoy them, a loud noise came from not far away. Xiao Chen frowned. He thought that someone was drinking and causing trouble, but he didn't expect that the noisy person would walk straight towards Xiao Chen's table. The leader was a young man. Behind him were 3 young men and 2 female companions. They came over and shouted in the local language, "Who has taken my place? You're quite bold. Hurry up and get them to give it up. Otherwise, you know the consequences." What did they say? Xiao Chen asked Song Huawu. It seems to be the person who made the reservation. Let the waiter settle it. It has nothing to do with us. Song Huawu shook her head. She didn't want to cause trouble. Xiao Chen nodded and glanced at the leading man. This man had fair skin and was well dressed. He should be a rich man, but this had nothing to do with Xiao Chen. After looking at him, Xiao Chen continued eating. However, he hated this person a little. He didn't come at the time he made the reservation. Why was there so much trouble when he was late? However, there was no need for him to confront him directly. The restaurant would deal with this matter. Sure enough, the waiter kept talking to the young man. However, when the young man saw that Xiao Chen didn't get up to give up his seat and even pretended not to hear and continued eating, he immediately flew into a rage. He, Ramit, was the young master of the Claryman family, the largest family in the vicinity. He was a domineering existence in the vicinity of Lego town. Didn't people quickly scram when they saw him? At this moment, this person pretended not to see him and completely ignored him. How could he tolerate it? Ramit was furious. Wasn't this person obviously looking down on him? He didn't care about the waiter's words anymore. He walked over and lifted Xiao Chen's tablecloth. All the food on it fell to the ground. There was a series of crackling sounds. However, Xiaochen and Song Huawu were both warriors and cultivators. They weren't affected at all. Not even a drop of vegetable soup splashed on them. I'm sorry. The waiter scowled miserably and hurried over to apologize to Xiaochen and Song Huawu. However, he spoke in English this time, as if he knew Xiaochen didn't understand his language. Can I arrange another seat for you two right away? This seat was reserved by young Master Ramit. You see. What's this person's job? Xiaochen pointed at Ramit and asked in English. If it weren't for the fact that he was on a mission, he would have sent this person flying with a slap. This. Just as the waiter was about to explain, one of Ramit's companions stepped forward. Kid, you're new here, right? Don't you know who has the final say in this sea? This is Ramit, the eldest young master of the Claremont family, the biggest gang here. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Otherwise, I guarantee that you won't be able to leave this sea. The man pointed at Xiaochen and shouted arrogantly. Claremont family? You're from the Claremont family? Xiaochen was shocked. He didn't expect to meet the person he was looking for here. He immediately calculated in his heart. If he could capture this person, he could get a lot of valuable information from him. Otherwise, he would be in the dark about the Claremont family. Thinking of this, a smile flashed across the corner of his mouth. Kid, do you want to die? How dare you smile? Do you want to die? When the man saw that Xiaochen was actually smiling, he was extremely angry. Did this person really not know how terrifying the Claremont family was? Oh, sorry. We'll leave now. Sorry. Since Xiaochen had made up his mind, he naturally had to show weakness first. Chapter 585. If he took them away in the restaurant, it would attract the attention of other local forces. Perhaps the news would quickly spread to the Claremont family, so he planned to wait for these people to leave the restaurant before making his move. At least you know what's good for you. When the man saw that Xiaochen had shown weakness, he was very proud. In fact, although he was the great young Master Ramit's follower, fighting in the restaurant would not only affect his mood, but it would also be too conspicuous. Since the other party had shown weakness, it could not be any better. When the waiter saw that Xiaochen had compromised, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief and quickly led the two of them to the side. Then he said, I'm sorry, please wait a moment. There will be a table of guests finishing eating soon. I'll help you arrange it. I'll give you another portion of your food and give you a 50% discount. How about that? Okay, no problem. Xiaochen nodded. When the waiter saw that Xiaochen was easy to talk to, he breathed a sigh of relief and quickly went to serve Ramit. Xiaochen's previous seat had a good view. He could see the night view of the sea, and the seat was relatively spacious. Xiaochen was now waiting for an ordinary table for two. It was very small and there was nothing to see. But it did not matter. Young man, let your girlfriend sit here and wait. I'll finish eating soon. At the place where Xiaochen was waiting, an old man was eating alone. He was almost done eating and was about to finish. He greeted Xiaochen in English. Okay, thank you very much. Xiaochen was a straight-A student in school, so he had no problem communicating in English. He thought about it, sat down, and let Song Huawu sit on his lap. He saw that many couples were doing the same not far away. Song Huawu did not hesitate. She sat on Xiaochen's lap and rubbed her buttocks twice. Xiaochen immediately reacted and could not help but pat Song Huawu, indicating that she should behave. Song Huawu turned her head and grinned. It was obvious that she did it on purpose. You're welcome. Over there are people from the Claremont family. You must be visiting. Don't provoke them. The old man said slowly, they have a lot of power in the area. If we were to provoke them, it would be very troublesome. You guys are wise to not clash with them and give up your positions. Otherwise, so, the Claremont family is very powerful around here? Xiaofan asked, nodding. That's right, it's not just powerful. It's like covering the sky with one hand. At this point, the old man sighed and a trace of sorrow flashed in his eyes. Is no one doing anything about it? Xiaofan asked. Manage? Who cares? Who can control it? The old man shook his head. You don't know this because you're not from around here. Lego Town is their private land. It's an island they bought. It's their own territory. I see. Xiaofan did not expect the Claremont family to be even more powerful than the Kai family. They could actually afford to buy an island. You're not from around here. It's normal that you don't know. But I'm very puzzled. This is not a tourist city. What are you doing here? The old man said, a little puzzled. Those who come here are either the leaders of some small gangs that have joined the Claremont family or are here to buy firearms. Very few people come here to play. We're traveling on our own. We just want to go to some deserted places to see the local customs. We didn't expect to encounter such trouble. Xiaofan shrugged helplessly and said. I advise you to leave as soon as possible. It's very chaotic. The old man sighed. Otherwise, I'll be an example, you? Xiaofan looked at the old man in surprise. I'm not a local. 30 years ago, I brought my fiancée here to play. Just like you now. As the old man said this, a flash of sadness flashed in his cloudy eyes. In the end, I was young and impetuous. I had a conflict with the Claremont family. My fiancée was kidnapped by them. After being raped, my fiancée committed suicide by jumping into the sea. Not even her body was found. Xiaofan frowned and was a little angry. He did not expect the Claremont family to be so rampant. In Lan City, although the Kai family was a martial arts family, they did not dare to do this. Old sir, please restrain your grief. If there's a chance, I'll avenge you, Xiaofan said. I don't think about revenge anymore. The old man only thought that Xiaofan was comforting him. He shook his head and smiled bitterly. I just want to stay here with her now. As for the Claremont family, I don't have any thoughts about them. They're too powerful. I just hope, Xiaofan was slightly stunned. I just hope to meet a suitable person who can help me teach them a lesson. Forget it, let's not talk about this. I'm done eating. You guys can eat. As the old man spoke, he stood up and called for the waiter to settle the bill. Xiaofan and Song Huawu sat down. Very quickly, their dishes were served again. Xiaofan began to eat without batting an eyelid. What are your plans? This doesn't seem like your character, Song Huawu asked as she ate. In Lan City, if anyone dared to talk to Xiaofan like this, Xiaofan would cripple them, if not kill them. Song Huawu knew that Xiaofan was a ruthless person, but she backed down today. After we finish eating, find a chance to tie up Ramt and ask him about the Claremont family. Xiaofan said, this will make it easier for us to act. If we have a conflict in the restaurant, it will alert them. So you've already planned it. No wonder. Song Huawu felt that something was not quite right. Yes. Xiaofan nodded. On the other side, Ramt and his companions were obviously eating happily. They were happy that Xiaofan was tactful. However, they ate a little slowly, which made Xiaofan a little unhappy. They were taking their time eating. Just as Xiaofan was getting impatient, these people finally got up and prepared to leave. However, Ramt, who was walking in front, obviously had no intention of paying the bill. He swaggered out of the restaurant, and the people behind him whistled coolly. They had no intention of paying the bill at all. Xiaofan shook his head. These people were really arrogant. The waiter clearly saw them, but he did not dare to say anything. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu had already paid the bill. They got up and followed them out. These people were drunk. Ramt, who was walking in front, said, "I'm going to find a hotel to sleep for a while. You guys have fun." "Yes, young Master Ramet." A few of them hurriedly agreed. It could be seen that Ramt's alcohol tolerance was the worst among them. After the others finished drinking, there was not much of a problem, but Ramt could not. Accompanied by everyone, he staggered to the more luxurious hotel opposite Xiao Chen's. Similarly, the receptionist not only did not dare to register his identity, but did not even dare to collect the room fee. Instead, she gave him a luxurious presidential room. "I'll go up myself. There's no need for you guys." Ramt waved his hand. Although these people were his subordinates, they were all his supporters. He was the second-in-line heir of the family. Whether he could ascend to the position in the future or not, he still needed the support of these people. Hence, he was very polite to these subordinates. "Okay." They nodded. Obviously, they had experienced this kind of thing many times. They were not surprised at all and turned to leave. As for Xiao Chen and Song Huawu, they turned to enter the hotel after they left. "Hello." The receptionist saw Xiao Chen and Song Huawu come in, so he greeted them. "Young Master Ramt is looking for us to deliver something to him." "Which room is he in?" Song Huawu asked. "Ah, it's in room 1201. The receptionist was taken aback. He did not dare to be negligent and quickly replied. "Oh." Song Huawu snorted and walked in the direction of the elevator with Xiao Chen. The people around Ramt were very arrogant. The receptionist had already experienced it, so he naturally did not think there was any problem. When Xiao Chen entered the elevator, he could not help but shake his head. Sigh, not only did these people not pay, but they were also so arrogant. He had to greet them with a smile. Otherwise, it would be a big problem. The two of them went up to the 12th floor and came to the door of room 1201. This was an independent room at the end of the corridor. There were no other doors nearby. At first glance, this room was very big. Xiao Chen opened the door casually, but Song Huawu was stunned. She looked at Xiao Chen in astonishment. Even a normal locksmith would need some time to open a lock, right? Moreover, the lock of this kind of hotel was relatively complicated. There was no keyhole, but it was unlocked by a sensor card, but he did not expect it to be opened so easily. How is it possible? However, before he could ask anything, Xiao Chen walked in. Song Huawu quickly followed him and closed the door behind her. At this moment, Ramt was sleeping on the bed. Xiao Chen walked over, grabbed Ramt's hair, and pulled him up. With a casual toss, Ramt was thrown to the ground. He was in a daze from the fall, and half of his drunken state had sobered up. Who? Ramt exclaimed. When he saw that the person in front of him was Xiao Chen, he was shocked and angry. "It's you? Kid, you dare to cause trouble for me?" "Oh." Xiao Chen stepped on Ramt's face. "Can you stop asking nonsense? I'm already here, and you still ask me if I dare or not. Are you stupid? If I were you, I would quickly kneel and beg for mercy. Maybe I won't beat you to death." You dare to beat me to death?" Ramt was a little shocked. "If you dare to touch me, believe it or not, you won't be able to leave the Lego waters." "Oh." Xiao Chen kicked Ramt's stomach, and this guy suddenly vomited on the ground. All the food and drink that he had eaten and drunk were vomited out. Xiao Chen picked up Ramt with some disgust and threw him to the other side. Then he said to Song Huawu, "Open the window. This smell is too bad." Chapter 586. Ramt seemed to have found a life-saving straw. When he heard Xiao Chen's words, his eyes lit up. "Don't come over. If you dare to come over again, I'll puke all over you." "Oh, Xiao Wu, open the big window. Open it wider." I'll throw this person out, Xiaofan said directly. Okay. Song Hua Wu went to open the window. Xiaofan was about to grab Ramt, and Ramt was so scared that he peed his pants. Seeing that Xiaofan was about to grab him, he quickly shouted, Don't. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let you go before. I was wrong. This time, Ramt was really scared. The person in front of him was ruthless, and from his calm expression, Ramt knew that he had run into trouble. You think it's over just because you were wrong? Xiaofan asked. Seeing that the person in front of him had no intention of compromising, Ramt could not help but threaten, Big brother, I admit that I was wrong before, but don't push your luck. The Claremont family is not to be trifled with. Oh? Is that so? Xiaofan smiled faintly. Do you know why you're still alive now? Why you weren't killed by me before? As Xiaofan spoke, he casually picked up a copper statue that was placed in the room and crushed it into a copper ball. Then, he directly smashed it onto Lamont's body. Lamont immediately cried out in pain, but his heart was filled with shock. Martial Knight? Ramt said in surprise. At this moment, no matter how stupid he was, he knew that the person in front of him was a legendary martial artist. Otherwise, he would not have such great strength. Judging from the roundness of this bronze ball, the person in front of him was at least at the 7th or 8th stage of inner force. I heard that you're from the Claremont family. It just so happens that I'm going to make a move on the Claremont family, so I left you alive and didn't kill you on the spot. Xiaofan said as he looked at Ramt calmly. Huh? Ramt was stunned, then he suddenly laughed. Ha 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 ha, I said that you're too funny. You want to touch the Claremont family? I advise you to forget about it. Even if you are a martial master, it is useless. The Claremont family also has martial jockeys, and more than one. If you go, you'll be courting death. So, you'd better let me go and run. This won't do you any good. Huh, you don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about whether I can succeed or not. Right now, killing you is as easy as flipping my hand. Xiaofan kicked Ramt's head, causing him to tumble. Don't talk nonsense to me. Now answer whatever I ask you, or I'll kill you. According to what you said, since we are going to die anyway, we might as well kill you first. Ramt stopped laughing. He felt that the person in front of him was a lunatic. He knew that he was going to die, but he still insisted on going. Most importantly, this person was right. It was as easy as flipping a hand to kill him. How many martial artists and martial masters are there in your family? Xiaofan asked. Answer truthfully. I have already gotten some information from someone else. I'm just confirming. If you lie to me, you know the consequences. This. Ramt hesitated for a moment, but then he thought that this was not a secret. If he told the person in front of him, he could not do anything to the Claremont family. It would be suicide no matter what. It was more important to stay alive, so he said, Our family has 15 martial knights and 4 martial jockeys. How strong are the martial jockeys? Xiaofan asked. 1 level 1 martial jockey, 2 level 3 martial jockeys, and 1 level 4 martial jockey. Ramt answered truthfully, calculating in his heart. If this person did not ask about the number of martial knights, then he must also be an expert at the martial master level. Otherwise, he would not only care about one. Oh, got it. Xiaofan nodded and said, Do you know where one of your people, Vikings, stole an encrypted chip and brought it back? Oh. There was a flash of vigilance in Ramt's eyes. He looked at Xiaofan and said, I don't know what you're talking about. What encrypted chip? My family doesn't have that thing. My family sells firearms. Oh, whatever you say. But if I'm unhappy, I'll punish you. Do you know what a firebird is? Xiaofan smiled coldly and looked at Ramt maliciously. Firebird? Is it the immortal phoenix? Ramat was stunned. He did not know what this question meant, so he answered after thinking for a while. Firebird means to make your bird catch fire. Xiaofan saw that Ramat was still confused, so he condensed a fireball and said, "It means to burn your crotch." Ah! Ramat shivered in shock and shook his head repeatedly. No, are you going to tell me or not? Xiaofan asked with a smile as he played with the fireball. Tell me what? Ramat asked carefully. Then you'd better play with the firebird. Xiaofan threw the fireball at Ramat's crotch. Ouch! Ramat screamed. A burning sensation spread to his crotch. He involuntarily rolled back and forth on the ground, trying to extinguish the fire on his body, but it was to no avail. Xiaofan threw another water ball over and extinguished the fire on Ramat's crotch. However, Ramat's crotch was scorched black. Ramat almost fainted from the pain. You! How can you just attack me like that? There's no room for negotiation at all. Now, I'll continue to ask you. Do you know where the encryption chip is? Xiaofan smiled and said, "Next time, I'll let you play with fiery chrysanthemum." Although Ramat didn't know what flaming chrysanthemum was, he knew that it couldn't be anything good. The name was a little scary. After hesitating for a while, he decided that there was no harm in telling the person in front of him since he was no match for the family, so he said, "That's right. That was stolen by my cousin. He's also the heir of the family. He made a great contribution this time. The family meeting even considered raising his ranking before mine. Don't talk nonsense. I'm asking you, where is the encryption chip now?" Xiaofan asked. The encryption chip. Of course, it's in the secret room of our Clariman family. Only the current patriarch has the authority to open it. No one else can enter, Ramat said. Ramat said, "I'm not lying to you. Even my cousin, Vikings, who stole this chip, can't get it now. If you don't study the decryption chip, what's the use of hiding it?" Xiaofan suddenly asked, puzzled. "It's not really hidden." Ramat explained. "Our family doesn't have an expert who is good at decryption, but the Sakura group that cooperates with us has a professional technician. We wait for him to come over, and then we study the decryption together. But before that, to avoid any accidents, we put away the encryption chip first. Then, now, draw me a map of your family." Xiaofan nodded. What Ramat said was reasonable, and looking at his expression, he did not seem to be lying. Drawing it is useless. You can't be a match for the Clariman family. Ramat muttered. "Do you want to try fiery chrysanthemum?" Xiaofan snorted. "I'll draw it." "Can't I draw it?" Ramat shook his head. What he said and the map to be drawn were not a big secret at all. Many people had been to the Clariman family, and they all roughly knew the location inside. As for Vikings stealing the encryption chip and cooperating with the Sakura group, it was probably Xiaofan who knew about it. Otherwise, he would not have been able to find this place. Song Hua Wu took the pen and paper, gave it to Ramat, and asked him to draw the map on it. After a while, Ramat finished drawing and handed it to Xiaofan. He said, "Take a look now. Isn't this fine? You can let me go, right?" Xiaofan took the map and looked at it. Although the map was not very well drawn, it was very clear. All the places and positions were marked, but what Xiaofan was most concerned about was the location of the secret room. "Well, okay. Take us back with you tomorrow," Xiaofan said lightly. Go back together?" Ramat was a little puzzled. Is this person really not afraid of death? Does he think that with his strength alone, he can deal with the Clariman family? "Yes, you can sleep for a while now," Xiaofan said as he slapped Ramat's neck, making him fall asleep. "What should we do? Take him away, or stay here?" Song Hua Wu looked at the vomit on the ground with some disgust. Also, Ramet was now wearing diapers, and she could not bear to look at him. Of course, take him back. Xiaofan rummaged through the room and only found a woven bag for a quilt, but it did not matter. Xiaofan folded Ramet and stuffed him into the bag. Then, he carried the bag and did not take the elevator. Under the cover of the night, he stood in front of the window sill and said to Song Huawu, "You come. Hold me on my back. You want to jump down?" Song Huawu was a little surprised. "Yes." Xiaofan said, "It's not good to take the elevator directly while carrying the bag. It will not be good if people notice us in advance." "Oh." Song Huawu believed in Xiaofan's ability, so she jumped on his back and hugged him. Xiaofan carried the bag and jumped directly from the 12th floor. No one noticed. This was the back of the hotel. After landing safely, Xiaofan took 2 steps before he felt someone behind him. "Huawu, we're here. Why aren't you coming down yet?" Xiaofan asked. Are we here?" "I closed my eyes just now," Song Huawu jumped down and said naturally. "Okay." Xiaofan quickly walked in front and returned to the restaurant they were at before. Ramet's disappearance did not attract much attention. In the past, Ramet would wake up the next day and contact his gang of scoundrels. If he did not take the initiative to contact them, no one would disturb him. Chapter 587. Xiaofan hit Ramet again. He probably wouldn't wake up for a few hours. "Xiaofan, aren't you a bit of a pervert?" Song Huawu asked as she lay on the bed. "Why do you say that?" Xiaofan asked. "Otherwise, why would you have a firebird and a chrysanthemum?" Song Huawu stared at Xiaofan. "I think you have an extraordinarily heavy taste." "Ugh, wasn't that just to scare this kid?" Xiaofan was speechless. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so obedient. "Okay." Song Huawu didn't say anything else. In fact, Song Huawu felt that she had a psychological problem, so she thought that Xiaofan had a psychological problem like her. That way, she would feel more at ease. Who knew that Xiaofan seemed to be fine? "What's wrong? Look at you. It seems that I'm fine, but you're not happy?" Xiaofan was a little puzzled when he saw Song Huawu pouting. He had a feeling that this chick had become a little abnormal after he treated her injuries. "Oh, that's not true." Song Huawu blushed. She naturally couldn't admit that she was a bit abnormal and liked being stared at by Xiaofan, so she pretended to say, "I just think that next time, you shouldn't let him be disheveled in front of a girl. Otherwise, if he sees something he shouldn't see, he'll get a pinprick." "Huh? Then why did you look for an adult channel?" Xiaofan asked curiously. "Didn't I watch it with you?" Song Huawu said. "Besides, that's beautiful. How can it compare to this disgusting one?" "Okay, you always have a reason." Xiaofan shook his head. "Go to sleep. I'll watch Ramet. This kid can't run away. And then you come to bed too," Song Huawu said. Xiaofan had a feeling that Song Huawu was trying to seduce him, but he still did as she said and lay down on the bed. Otherwise, he would have nowhere to go. Even if he had to monitor Ramet, he needed a place to rest. Song Huawu was clearly tired and soon fell asleep. However, Xiaofan continued to cultivate. The next morning, Song Huawu woke up and put on her clothes. Only when the two of them were busy did Ramet wake up. At first, Ramet thought that he was out of danger. However, when he opened his eyes, he saw Xiaofan and his face was full of bitterness. "Big brother, you haven't run yet. I told you, you're no match for the Claryman family. Won't we know once we get there? Besides, I'm going to talk to your patriarch. If he doesn't agree, I'll take measures against him," Xiaofan said. "All right." Ramet thought to himself that the person in front of him must be a lunatic. With just the strength of the two of them, they wanted to go against the Claryman family? Wasn't that courting death? However, let him be. It was fine as long as he was fine. Then, now, quickly change your clothes and lead the way. Take us to see your patriarch. Xiaofan said. Oh, okay. Originally, Ramat was still thinking about how to secretly inform the family, but now it saved him a lot of trouble. These two reckless people wanted to follow him back to the family. When they reached Lego Town, it would be the Claremont family's territory. At that time, Xiaofan would not be able to escape even if he wanted to. Seeing that Ramat was so happy, Xiaofan did not say much. He took him and Song Huawu and checked out of the room, then went to the dock. Ramat and Xiaofan each had their own thoughts. In his opinion, Xiaofan was courting death, so there was no need for him to offend him anymore. Ramat's D*ck was still hurting, and he was still walking like a big crab. The three of them came to the dock together. Everyone was waiting in line for the ticket office at the dock to start selling tickets. Because it was still early, the tickets had not started selling yet. However, Ramat did not go to line up. He swaggered to the deck of the cruise ship, not caring whether it was open or not. However, when the staff in charge of ticket inspection saw Ramat, he immediately opened the railing with a smile and let Ramat board the ship first. A sailor on the ship came over and asked quickly, "Young Master Ramat, you and your companions are still sitting in the first-class cabin, right?" A sailor on the ship came over and asked quickly, "Young Master Ramat, you and your companions are still sitting in the first-class cabin, right?" Ramat snorted faintly, then, under the guidance of the sailor, entered an independent private room. This was the first-class cabin of the cruise ship. "Ramat, I didn't expect you to have such a big face. You still want to sit in the first-class cabin without paying?" Xiaofan's words were a little sarcastic, but Ramat did not hear it. Instead, he said proudly, "That's right. In the Lego Sea, everyone has to give face to the Claremont family, unless they want to die. This cruise ship transportation company also has to pay a large management fee to our family every year." Ramat said this because he wanted Xiaofan to be more polite to him. However, Xiaofan just nodded indifferently and said, "Then you probably don't have to pay in the future." "Why?" Ramat was stunned. "If I destroy your family, then there's no need." Xiaofan smiled and said, "Of course, if you obediently hand over the chip, I will consider letting your family go." "Is there something wrong with this person's brain?" Ramat cursed in his heart, but he did not dare to refute. He could only say, "Oh." In his heart, he thought, "If you go to Lego Town, you will die." Xiaofan and Song Huawu each picked up a newspaper and leaflet distributed on the ship and read it. Ramat watched the TV in boredom. After a while, other guests gradually boarded the ship, and the ship set off for Lego Town. Although Lego Town was dominated by the Claremont family, there were still many other residents in the town. The fishing industry here was very developed, and most of these people were in the seafood business. Of course, there were also people who went to discuss cooperation with the Claremont family. Although the Claremont family was in the arms business, they also had some other businesses, but they were all handled by some collateral relatives. After about an hour, the ship arrived at the dock of Lego Town, and Ramat was naturally the first to get off the ship. "Brother, what do you want me to do now?" Ramat asked Xiaofan after getting off the ship. "Find me a place and let your family head negotiate," Xiaofan said. He did not want to go back to the Claremont family with Ramat for the time being. He was not afraid of the other party's warriors and masters. As long as Xiaofan wanted to escape, those people would not be able to stop him. However, he was afraid of guns and cannons. This was the Claremont family's base camp. They had started off by selling arms. If Xiaofan was bombed there, it would not be worth it. As for a larger hotel, no matter how crazy the Claremont family was, they could not directly open fire on the hotel. That would be destroying their own foundation. There would definitely be many Claremont family guests in the hotel. Sure enough, when he heard that Xiaofan did not want to go with him and simply wanted to find a hotel to wait, he was a little unhappy. He believed that as long as Xiaofan followed him, he would definitely die a horrible death. However, since Xiaofan had spoken, he could not refuse. He nodded and said, "There's a Claremont hotel nearby. It's run by my family. I'll send you there. Lead the way." Xiaofan nodded. This Claremont hotel was indeed luxurious. Xiaofan took a look and felt at ease. This hotel's architecture was very exquisite and unique. If the Claremont family could destroy a hotel for him alone, they would be out of their minds. Because Ramit was there, Xiaofan did not have to pay to stay. Ramit returned to his family. He had to report this matter to the family head and the elders as soon as possible. After leaving the hotel, Ramit flagged down a taxi. He did not want to walk back. His D*CK was already hurting. The taxi driver obviously knew Ramit and did not dare to neglect him. Although he knew that he would not earn any fares, he still greeted him with a smile and sent Ramit to the Claremont family. The Claremont family was located on an independent island near the small town of Lego. It was connected by a suspension bridge in the middle. On the other side of the suspension bridge, it was completely the private territory of the Claremont family. The car drove across the suspension bridge and stopped in the empty parking lot in front of a European-style castle. Ramit got out of the car without paying, then limped toward the castle. The taxi driver did not dare to say much and drove away. However, Ramit had only taken a few steps when a tall man walked toward him. This man was the first-in-line heir of the Claremont family. He was also the grandson of Mallory, the current patriarch of the Claremont family, Jorli. He was Ramit's cousin. In fact, although Ramit was the second-in-line heir, he had no intention of competing for the position of the family head. He knew his own capabilities and knew that he did not have the ability to shoulder the responsibility at all. His ultimate goal was to eat, drink, and have fun, and then become an elder of the family. He had obtained his position as the second-in-line heir entirely because he and Jorli had the same grandfather. Although Ramit was born of a concubine, he was still of the main bloodline, so he became the second-in-line heir. As for the third-in-line heir, Vikens, he was the grandson of an elder. "My dear cousin Ramit, what's wrong with you? Why are you walking sideways like a crab, and why are you so sullen?" Jorli looked at Ramit, who was walking sideways with an unhappy expression, and asked curiously. "Don't mention it, cousin. I'm really unlucky this time." When Ramit thought of Xiaofan, he immediately gritted his teeth in anger. He said hatefully, "I was taught a lesson in the Lego Sea yesterday. You don't know, I almost became a woman, and my birdie was burned." "Ah. What happened?" Jorli's eyes widened in disbelief. "You were taught a lesson? But who dared to touch you? Didn't they know you were from the Claremont family?" Chapter 588. "Hey, isn't it all because of that fellow, Vikens?" Ramit rolled his eyes and said, "The two people who dealt with me are both from Great Xia. Vikens went to Great Xia and stole the encrypted chip. In the end, he was found out by them, and they happened to know that I was the young master of the Claremont family. As a result, I was unlucky. They taught me a lesson and forced me to bring them here." "Oh?" Xiao Kelly was stunned. "So, they followed you here?" "Not really. I arranged for them to stay at the Claremont Hotel, but this is all because of Vikens. Cousin, we can't just let it go," Ramit said sternly. "Vikens has been very active recently. He wants to use this merit to snatch my position as the second-in-line heir. Cousin, you know me. I have always followed your lead and definitely won't snatch your position as the young master in the future. But Vikens is different. That fellow is ambitious. If he surpasses me and becomes the second-in-line heir, he will definitely launch an all-out attack on you." "Well, what you said makes sense." Xiao Kelly couldn't help but frown after hearing this. He was also calculating in his heart. As the first-in-line heir of the family, naturally, it was not just because of his identity as the first grandson. He also had his own thoughts in other aspects. He was thinking about the pros and cons of this matter and whether it would bring him any benefits. Of course, revenge for Ramit was a must, but before that, he had to make a big deal out of it and affect Vikings. How could he do this? In his opinion, it was tantamount to courting death for only two people to dare to cause trouble at the Claryman family. It was very easy to kill them, but if they died, they would at most help Ramit vent his anger. He thought about it and said, "How about this, Ramit? You come with me to see Grandpa, and then you tell him everything that happened. Is that okay?" "Of course, there's no problem." Ramit laughed. He understood what Xiao Kelly meant. That was to cause trouble for Vikings. Of course, he was happy to do so. Vikings did not have a good relationship with him. Of course, he had to support Xiao Kelly's ascension. Only when Xiao Kelly was promoted would he have a good life in the future. Otherwise, if Vikings was promoted, he might not even be able to get the position of an elder. Although Ramit's abilities were limited, he was still outstanding. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been the second-in-line heir in such an intense family. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Then, they walked into the most majestic castle in the courtyard. This was the residence of the elder Clarman, the core of the Clarman family's power. In the Clarman family, the only person who could be called Old Clarman was the patriarch, because no one else could represent the Clarman family. In the living room of the castle, Xiao Kelly thought for a while and said to Ramuda, "Cousin Ramuda, rest in the living room for a while. I'll report to Grandpa. Then I'll leave it to you, cousin." Ramit nodded, sat on the sofa, and said, "By the way, cousin, help me out. Don't tell anyone that I'm causing trouble outside." When they walked into the castle, Ramuda did not hide anything and told Xiao Kelly everything that had happened in detail. However, this did not mean that he could tell Old Clarman about it. Xiao Kelly smiled at Ramuda and said, "Don't worry, Ramuda. I know what I'm doing. I'll definitely put in a good word for you with Grandpa." "That's good. Thank you, cousin." Hearing Xiao Kelly's words, Ramuda was relieved. Xiao Kelly went upstairs, while Ramuda read the newspaper in the living room. The servant served him juice and coffee. Of course, Ramuda was not in the mood to drink these. He was worried about his grandfather's attitude. Not long after, footsteps came from the stairs. Xiao Kelly and Old Clarman came downstairs together. The two of them talked as they walked. "Grandpa, this is what happened. This is really an unexpected disaster for Ramuda," Xiao Kelly said. "If Vikings hadn't bragged about it outside and made it known to everyone, how would others know that he was from the Clarman family? Why would they come looking for him?" "Well, you're right. Vikings is still too young, and he's too impetuous. He went out to look for someone to cooperate with. As long as he showed his strength, he wouldn't have to worry about not being able to find someone to cooperate with. He revealed his family background, so he could only reveal his background," said a vigorous and powerful voice. It was Elder Clarman of the Clarman family. "Grandpa, you're here. I'm really sorry to have caused you trouble. I was beaten up, and I've embarrassed the Clarman family." When Ramuda saw his grandfather coming downstairs, he quickly stood up, looking like a child who had done something wrong. "Well, Xiao Kelly has already told me about it." "It's not your fault," Old Clarman said. Old Claryman said, "Vikings is too young. He's causing trouble outside. It's just that you're unlucky. Grandpa, it's not Vikings' fault. He did it for the family. Don't blame him too much." Ramuda said. "I heard from Xiao Kelly that those two people wanted to talk to me about something." Old Clarman asked. "Yes, they said they wanted to talk to our family master about something." Ramuda said, "Grandpa, are you going? They threatened to take action against our family. Just the two of them and you. Old Klarman was a little puzzled. Where did they get their confidence from? Do they think they can do anything to the Klarman family with just the two of them? I don't know, Grandpa, but they are all martial knights or martial jockeys, Ramuda said. Well, the other party is probably from the Xia country's Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It's not good for us to get rid of them in broad daylight. If we want to get rid of them, we have to find the right time. Old Klarman nodded and said, let's do it this way. I'll hold a family meeting to study it. Xiao Kelly, too. Yes, Grandpa. Xiao Kelly replied quickly. Xiao Kelly had become the most prestigious young man in the family's third generation. If there were no accidents, he would become the family's third-generation candidate for the family master, so he would attend all the family meetings. However, it was worth mentioning that ever since Vikings completed this task and obtained the encrypted chip, his status in the Klarman family had skyrocketed. He was now allowed to attend the family meetings. This was a treatment that even Ramuda, the second-in-line heir, did not have. It was enough to show how much the family valued him. Although old Klarman was somewhat biased towards his grandson, Xiao Kelly, Viking's ascension was unstoppable. The other elders had agreed, so he could only agree. Otherwise, if they quarreled, it would affect the unity of the family. Even the family master could not have the final say. The family meeting of the Klarman family was held. Attending the meeting were old Klarman, the great elder, who was Viking's grandfather, the second elder, the third elder, and Xiao Kelly and Viking's two juniors. The great elder was old Klarman's younger brother, while the second elder and the third elder were the sons of old Klarman and the great elder respectively. They were also the fathers of Xiao Kelly and Vikings. The Klarman family maintained the habit of passing the position across generations. Generally, it was the grandfather who passed the position to the grandson. As the second generation of the family, although they would have a place in the Elders' Association, they could not challenge for the position of the family master. This was a tradition. The frequent change of the family master would bring some unstable factors to the stable development of the family because everyone was fighting for power and profit. Now, the second generation simply did not have the right to inherit the position of the family master. There was the old family master above and the second generation below. It was impossible for the third generation to stir up too much trouble. This is what happened. Everyone understands the situation. This matter is entirely because Vikings revealed his identity outside, causing the other party to come to our door, old Klarman said after briefly describing the situation. This can't be blamed on Vikings, right? The great elder spoke. He was Vikings' grandfather, so he naturally spoke for Vikings. He went to Great Xia to look for cooperation. If he did not reveal his identity and background, who would cooperate with him? Grandpa, Vikings is indeed at fault in this matter. Vikings quickly lowered his head at this time and took the initiative to admit his mistake. Although they may not believe me if I don't reveal my identity, I feel that as long as I work hard to show my strength, they will eventually be able to cooperate with me. It's just that the research at the research base is nearing its end. I'm afraid that if it takes too long, the encrypted chip will be sent out again. By then, it will be too late for us to take action. Although Vikings was admitting his mistake, he also clarified a key point. That was, he did not have the time to show his strength for fear that the encrypted chip would be sent out. Old Klarman's old face turned red. Vikings did not mention this matter when he came back. He thought that Vikings was eager for quick success, but now it seemed that Vikings was thinking for the sake of the family and was afraid that the encrypted chip would be lost. Grandpa, I think Vikings is also doing it for the family. Our ultimate purpose is for the family, but as far as I know, before Vikings set off, he had already made contact with the Wave Dojo and the Sakura group over there. He used his identity as a member of the Klarman family. He did not reveal his family background only after understanding the situation. Jock Kelly added with a fake smile. He had already investigated the matter thoroughly. Old Klarman was suddenly amused again. Jock Kelly was still the best at this crucial moment. He nodded and said, "Well, Vikings is indeed wrong in this matter, so let's make up for his mistakes. He is still the third-in-line heir. Does anyone have any objections?" Of course not. The great elder had no choice. It was not a big deal that Vikings had been caught, but who would have thought that the other party's people would come and beat up Ramt? This time, it became Vikings' responsibility. Chapter 589. I'll follow the family's arrangements. Vikings' heart was bleeding. He hated the two people from Great Xia to the core, and he wished he could kill them as soon as possible. Originally, nothing had happened, and he was about to fight for the position of second-in-line heir. In the end, well, then, next, let's study how to deal with these two people from Great Xia. If my guess is right, they should be special agents from Great Xia, people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Old Clarryman said. "Grandfather, since these two people dared to provoke our Clarryman family and beat up cousin Ramt, I suggest we send the family's experts to kill them." Vikings hated Xiaofan and Rudolph to the core, so his first thought was to kill them to vent his anger. Well, not bad. I think Vikings has been following up on this matter. It's better to let Vikings handle it. Xiao Kelly had achieved his goal of suppressing Vikings, so he no longer cared about how to deal with Xiaofan and Rudolph. He just needed to vent Ramt's anger. As for whether they were killed, tortured, or maimed, it didn't matter. Well, sure. Then let Vikings handle this matter on behalf of the family. Old Clarryman nodded. Yes, master. Vikings nodded. In his opinion, killing the two special agents from Great Xia from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was as easy as flipping his hand. Vikings also had a lot of authority in the family, especially since he was under the orders of the master this time. Therefore, he mobilized the family's two martial jockey experts, one level 1 and the other level 3, to the Clarryman Hotel. The other party claimed to be negotiating with the Clarryman family's patriarch. What a joke. Two outsiders actually wanted to behave atrociously in Lego Town. They really didn't know what was good for them. Vikings didn't even intend to show up. Instead, he just let the two of them kill them. He hated them to the core. If it weren't for the sudden appearance of these two people and coincidentally teaching Ramt a lesson, he would have become the second-in-line heir by now, right? Thinking of this, he was filled with hatred. He said to the two military jockeys, "When you get there, ask them if they are from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Whether they are or not, just kill them and bring their bodies back. But remember, you must control the battle within a controllable range. Don't affect the other tenants and the reputation of the Clarryman family. If there was a murder in the Clarryman Hotel, to a certain extent, everyone would feel that even the Clarryman family's hotel was not safe. In that case, they would not be able to stay in Lego Town. Don't worry, young Master Vikings. We'll get rid of them quietly." The two martial cavalry masters nodded. "Alright, you guys go ahead." Vikings didn't think too much about it. In his opinion, the experts of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau were at most first-stage martial artists because high-level martial artists couldn't carry out these missions. The first-level and third-level martial riders got ready and headed to the Clarryman Hotel. They successfully found the room Xiaofan was in and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" Song Huawu had just come out of the bathroom after washing two fruits. She asked when she heard the knock on the door. "Waiter, I'm here to provide you with free condoms," the first-level martial rider said. Song Huawu was stunned, and her face turned red. However, after thinking about it, she still opened the door. Song Huawu couldn't be blamed for being careless. If they had knocked on the door for any other reason, Song Huawu would definitely have asked in detail. However, this waiter was here to deliver condoms, so Song Huawu didn't suspect anything. What bad guy could use such a strange reason? Moreover, Song Huawu also wanted to tease Xiaofan and secretly place the condoms on his bed to see his reaction. Therefore, Song Huawu was afraid that Xiao Chen would hear her from inside, so she quickly opened the door. She actually found it difficult to understand her own thoughts now, and it felt weird. The moment the door was opened, it was pushed open by a huge force. Song Huawu was bounced back by the door and fell to the ground. The fruits in her hands also fell to the ground. Two burly men walked in, and the third-level martial rider behind them closed the door. In fact, Xiao Chen also heard what the waiter said. How could he not hear it? With his cultivator's 6 senses, it was naturally impossible to hide from him at such a close distance. However, he didn't pay much attention to it. However, when he heard that something was wrong, he quickly walked out. At that moment, a pistol with a silencer was pointed directly at Xiao Chen's head. Song Huawu was ignored. The moment Song Huawu was bounced back by the door, she only displayed the strength of a martial artist. To the two martial riders, this was no threat at all. They didn't even bother to point their guns at her. In their eyes, Song Huawu was a dead person, however, the relationship between the two of them was that of a senior and junior brother. They had trained together since young, so they had a tacit understanding of each other. Seeing that Song Huawu was beautiful and was an Asian, which was rare to see an Asian beauty here, the two brothers were prepared to kill Xiao Chen in a while and play with Song Huawu before killing her. Wouldn't it be a waste to kill such a beautiful woman? Tell me, where are you from? What organization do you belong to? Pointing at Xiao Chen's third-layer martial rider, he shouted, "Tell me the truth, and I'll give you a quick death." As you can see, one of us is a first-layer martial rider, and the other is a third-layer martial rider. If we want to torture you to death and interrogate you about your background, it's as easy as flipping our hands. The level 3 martial rider spoke in English, so he didn't believe that Xiao Chen couldn't understand him. He thought that since Xiao Chen was a special agent, it was impossible for him not to know English. "Oh, what did you say?" Xiao Chen asked in Great Xia's language, "Who are you people?" "We are tourists." The level 3 martial rider was stunned. He didn't understand what Xiao Chen was talking about. When he saw Xiao Chen's innocent look, he was stunned. He said that they are tourists, but that's impossible. "Kid, tell me the truth." The level 3 martial rider could understand Great Xia's language. He looked at Xiao Chen coldly and said angrily, "Don't try to deceive us. Our patience is limited." Xiao Chen was deliberately stalling for time. With his own ability, he obviously couldn't contend with two martial master-level experts. It wasn't a problem for the level 3 martial rider to fight them. The level 3 martial rider was too big of a gap. "Oh, then kill me. I am really a tourist," Xiao Chen said innocently. "Humph, don't think that I won't dare to shoot." The level 3 martial rider was thinking of playing with Song Huawu later, so he was a little anxious. Since Xiao Chen didn't say anything, he didn't have to say anything. He pulled the trigger and went back to tell Vikings. As long as Xiao Chen didn't say anything, it would be fine. Anyway, with the corpses in hand, he just needed to do a little investigation and ask his two partners, the Cherry Blossom Group and the Surge Club, to find out the true identity of these two people. Bang! There was a loud sound. "Ah!" Xiao Chen screamed, giving Song Huawu, who didn't know what to do, a fright. Song Huawu fell to the ground and didn't dare to act rashly. These two people didn't hide their aura, and the strength of a level 1 and level 3 martial master was completely exposed. Just as she was worried, the other party opened fire. At this moment, Song Huawu wanted to pounce on these two people and fight it out with them. Something had happened to Xiao Chen. Her heart contracted fiercely. She didn't know why, but she was very concerned about Xiao Chen now. Perhaps it was because she was an orphan since she was young, but she was actually lonely inside. Suddenly, she had a friend like Xiao Chen, who was closer to her than a good friend. Song Huawu regarded him as her everything. However, what happened next made her speechless. She even wanted to stand up and give Xiaochen a kick. "Why did you scream when you said you were fine?" "Aya, it's so tragic." Xiaochen looked at the level 3 martial rider whose pistol had exploded in front of him and said pitifully, "Your right hand has exploded. The power of your gun is really not small. As expected of a family that sells firearms. It's powerful, but the quality isn't so good. You didn't kill me, but you blew yourself up." The level 3 martial rider was also stunned as he looked at his missing right hand and his raised forearm with the bloody gourd. He couldn't believe that the pistol would explode. How was that possible? However, the piercing pain made him understand that all of this was true. He regretted not using his chi to protect his body when he fired. In fact, who would have thought that he would need to protect himself when he shot someone with an absolute advantage? This was completely illogical. The reason for such a strange scene was that Xiaochen had secretly instructed Xiaoma while he was stalling for time just now. He secretly condensed a small ice ball in his hand and asked Xiaoma to secretly stuff the small ice ball into the pistol of the level 3 martial rider. Xiaoma's movements were very fast. He quickly completed this action when the level 3 martial rider turned his head to explain and returned to Xiaochen's divine sense space. How hard was the ice condensed from vitality? It would be strange if it didn't explode when it was stuffed into the chamber of the gun. However, the two martial riders would never have thought that Xiaochen would play such a trick. Just as the two martial riders were panicking, Xiaochen directly hit the level 1 martial rider with a fireball. The man instantly turned into a flaming man, screaming. The level 3 martial rider also reacted at this time and attacked Xiaochen with his left hand. However, this person was good at attacking with his right hand. The strength of his left hand was much weaker, and he was also good at using his fists. This time, the strength of the level 3 martial rider was greatly reduced. "Hua Wu, shoot him!" Xiaochen yelled at Song Hua Wu. Song Hua Wu was stunned. She didn't have a gun. She and Xiaochen came through the proper channels. They took several flights along the way, and the security check was very strict. It was impossible to bring a gun here. However, the level 3 martial rider didn't think of this. He thought that since Xiaochen and Song Hua Wu were secret agents, it was not a big deal for the secret agents to have guns. His family also sold weapons, so he also knew how easy it was to buy weapons locally.